It never gets old. It never gets old.
Welcome back to Kind of Funny's Sony's Spider-Man universe in review. That's probably, hopefully, fingers crossed, the last time we will ever have to hear and see that intro.
No
How
way.
do you feel about that?
There's no way that's true. There's no way that's true. There'll be
think?
another Sony's not getting leaving Spider-Man alone.
Yeah.
They're gonna do something here.
But I feel like it'll have Spider-Man in it. And so far, those have been
But
good.
our rules are that it can't cross over the MCU, right?
I mean,
Our list here has Spider-Man, Spider-Man 2, Amazing Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man 2. So if Sony does this Spider-Man,
well, we wouldn't use this, though. We would use the good version.
And also, like, technically, those are also part of the MCU, so should we take those off of this list?
Man,
I think it's
What a
crazy. Time to circumcise the list. We've been talking about this a long time.
we gotta do it. Everybody, remember, this is Sony's Spider-Man Universe in review, SPUMC, as of August 2021. It's just known as Sony Spider-Man Universe, the SSU. We can, now say goodbye to this Spider-Man universe that never featured a Spider-Man.
No.
None of these, not a single one of these movies actually had a Spider-Man.
It's like Tim's got the copious notes. I've got the cast list pulled up in Rag Bag. You just look at Nick's screen. He's got a photo of Aaron Taylor Johnson.
He looks good. He looks good. This man is a good-looking man.
he's a good-looking man. He has a lot of
Nick's
abs.
keep this that moment. I want to talk about this later.
Don't forget, talk about Aaron Taylor Johnson.
Mental note.
God. Of course, I'm Tim Geddes. I'm joined today by Andy Cortez,
Hello.
Greg Miller,
That's my man.
and Nick Scarpino.
Hello, Tim. Happy
Hello.
Friday.
Happy Friday to you. And shout out to Chris Anka, who just texted me asking, so how was it? And I was like, are
About
you
to find
watching?
out, Chris.
He's like, I'm right there. So yeah, strap in, everybody. Of course, this is Kind of Funny's in review. Each and every week we get together to rank, review, and recap different movie franchises. This is the last episode of the year for In Review. We'll be back next year. Next week, we will be reviewing Sonic the Hedgehog 3, but that will just be a review. We're not going to go
quickie.
through the plot and all that stuff. Because he's fast. It's
Oh.
because he's fast.
Here he comes,
Me,
Go buy a
Wes, and
Blur.
Roger are going to review Sonic the Hedgehog 3, unless Andy wants to go watch the movie with us and he can talk too.
When we were planning this out, I was like, oh man, I haven't even seen 2. And then you mentioned the cast, I was like, oh nice. I haven't seen 2. I'm waiting for a special time, Tim.
I get
That's gonna
that.
be my Deserted Island game or movie.
Okay.
I guess Stranded on a Deserted Island. Request
Sonic.
1 movie, Sonic 2.
There we go. So yeah, stay tuned for that next week. It'll be on this podcast feed if you're listening, because from now on, all our movie reviews, TV reviews will go on the In Review feed, even if it's not an In Review episode. Shout out to our Patreon producers, James Hastings, Casey Andrew, and Nathan Lamoth. Today we're brought to you by Still Wakes the Deep and Aura Frames, but I'll tell you all about that later, because I'm craving it, everybody.
Oh.
Craven the Hunter. With a runtime of 2 hours and 7 minutes. It was released on December 13th, 2024.
Today.
Directed, we came fresh from the theater.
We
This
did.
is one of
We're
those
straight out
very
of it.
rare times that we actually just saw this movie. So it's all in here, Andy. It's all in here.
All in here.
Directed by Jeffrey McDonald Chander, a.k.a. JC. Was born on November 24th, 1973. He's an American filmmaker, best known for writing and directing the critically acclaimed films Margin Call, All Is Lost, and A Most Violent Year. Are you familiar with any of those?
I am
names?
familiar with The Most Violent Year. It's great.
Yeah.
That's the first movie I remember seeing Oscar Isaac in, and Jessica Chastain. They play like a couple who has to like basically like fight corruption. They're just trying to run like a decent business, and the mob's like trying to move in. He's like, no, I just will not let you move in. It's really, really good.
Andy, Oscar Isaac played Apocalypse in X-Men Apocalypse.
We know that, man.
Jessica Chastain played what character in Dark Phoenix?
I mean, she was the bad guy.
She led the mummies.
Yeah, she led the Zelda mummies. I forgot her name.
$1,000 if you can name her.
$1,000. Ooh.
But the best part is like none of all we've done for years now is say Jessica Chastain and the Zelda mummies on Raggy Baggy.
He's Louise.
Let's see.
Can I wager a vote? I don't know.
Millennia or something.
I'm just gonna say Calypso because that just seems to be what they name every female character
Everything.
in
Yeah.
these movies.
I have no idea. I have no Shi'ar. She's one of the Shi'ar.
Bathsheba?
No,
No.
that's
Yep,
Conjuring.
that's the
That's
one.
Conjuring.
Yeah.
Damn.
Well, we'll never know. There's no way to find out. Music was done by a trio: Benjamin Wallfish, Eugenie Galprini, and Sasha Galprini. I don't know why that Eugenie Galprini made me laugh, but it did. Budget of $130 million. Sony's first R-rated comic book movie, which is kind of wild to think about, that this is the first R-rated one.
Vuk?
Like Carnage wasn't even R-rated.
Vuk
Oh,
Smith.
Vuk Smith.
Smith Vuk. Actually, technically Smith Vuk.
Shut the fuck up. No
I
way her
think
name
it's
was
Vuk
Vuk.
and Smith.
She also wasn't Sony's first R-rated movie, comic book movie,
I
Kraven
mean,
the
once
Hunter.
Deadpool showed the world what could happen, Sony's like, we got to get a piece of that, and
Yeah.
Kraven will be the one to
Carnage,
do
though?
it.
All right.
2.5 an hour, not even one areola. You know what I mean?
Two and a half an hour.
Right as the movie started, Greg leaned over to me and was like, it's rated out. You think you'll see some titties?
Take a chop of my cigar, let out a burp.
And then you swiftly took a nap.
This movie earned a disappointing $2 million in Thursday previews for an estimated opening weekend of $15 million or less.
bad.
That means it could supplant Madam Web as the lowest domestic start for a movie based on a Marvel comic book character, aside from Elektra 20 years ago. Madam Web debuted to
Good company.
$15.3 million domestically earlier this year after earning $2.2 million in
Adam, when
previews.
was this year?
In December 2024, following the projected financial failure of the film, it was reported that Kraven the Hunter will be the final film in Sony's Spider-Man universe, ending any chance for a sequel.
Yay!
Wow, this is how we go out, everybody.
Thank God. I mean, like, just why?
Let's start with you,
Who
Greg.
didn't pull
What'd
the
you
fucking
think?
plug? Here's the thing. A lot of headlines going around about this one before we go. Oh, it's a 13 on Rotten Tomatoes. It's this, it's that. This is just a terribly boring movie.
Yeah.
Just bad. It's just terribly boring. Like there's like we were talking. Tim was like, "Oh, I fell asleep." I'm like, "Oh yeah, me too." When they were in Turkey, going up 15 floors. Why did I have to see every floor of him climbing
every
this
floor, dude.
And it's just it's a nonsense, empty film. Like not nonsense in the fun way. Just like whatever. It's got a bunch of talented people in it, but bad performances, bad writing, bad choices. I feel throughout in terms of what's happening for a very two and an hour half movie. I've been talking a lot these past 2 days. But 2+ hours of movie where that really in the classic Nickism, right? That could have been trimmed out. This really should have been cut, trimmed, whatever. But like, it's just he's not an interesting character. The way it's presented, the dynamics aren't interesting. It's just something you're going to that we're having to sit through and watch, and I did. I was a tremendous waste of time, is how I describe Kraven. Kraven is a tremendous waste of time.
Nicholas.
I'm with Greg. I don't think it was the worst movie I've seen, and I'll be interested to see where everyone ranks it as far as like against the likes of Morbius and Madam Web, because I feel like those movies were nonsensical in a way where I do wonder if AI edited them and wrote them and directed them. This movie has some decent action sequences. It's got some decent violence in it, if that's what you're going for. And I don't think that it was altogether like an abomination. But I am with Greg, where I think we went to the backstory, and it is an origin story for Kraven. As we're in that backstory, I'm like, I just don't care.
And we're there a while.
We're there for a long. We're there for so long that Andy leaned over and he was like, "Oh, I forgot Aaron Taylor Johnson was in this movie."
Yeah,
because that
we were there a
sequence
long time.
takes so long, and I could not care less. I think unfortunately Russell Crowe was sorely miscast as this bad guy dad character, because I like Russell Crowe so much. I'm like, I don't buy him as this bad Russian. And I will say, listen, like I know we do podcasts within podcasts for wigs. And I know we also do podcasts for other specific traits that actors will bring.
Yeah.
One of which is accents for some reason. And we do have a podcast called Accent or Accent. Andy, hit the song.
Accent. I don't remember this song.
Oi, my lady.
Oi, my lady.
Oh, his lady. Why didn't they just let him do a British accent? What is the accent that Aaron Taylor Johnson's doing?
They're
Sometimes
Russian,
it's Southern,
man. They're
sometimes it's Russian, and most of the time it's just kind of New York or weirdly plain American. I don't know, man.
That's the thing.
It just ruined it
Kraven the
for me.
Hunter can blend in anywhere.
Yeah.
Here's my thing about Aaron Taylor Johnson, man.
ATJ.
Play the fucking music.
Aaron Taylor Johnson marching down the street. Aaron Taylor Johnson marching down the street.
Now it's time to rank those abs.
I wasn't even queuing up to the song. That was just a reference to play the Arian Grieves music for the podcast earlier this week. But Barrett, you're on it.
It's surprising Barrett didn't get that.
Yeah, I saw
he didn't understand what reference that
Definitely
was.
surprising I didn't get that, especially when you came into the control room before this to make sure I had the Rank Those Abs music song.
Well, once we talk,
so you queued
once
up
we
a
talk about a
song.
beautiful body, we talk
As
about a
Greg
beautiful
hits
body.
the hi-hat screen.
Yeah. Once we talk about a
made it,
beautiful
I made
body,
it.
we'll know when to hit that button. I think with Aaron Taylor Johnson, anytime I'm watching him, I'm just like, I wish you had Idris Elba's voice or something. He'll never be a leading guy to me.
Out of anything you could have said, I would have never thought those words.
When I see him, I'm just like, I want I want a deep booming voice. And he's always just a higher register, and that's just how his voice will always be.
See him in Bullet Train. He's a badass in
He's
Bullet
great
Train.
Bullet
I
Train.
love Bullet Train.
But like I'll never buy him as like the ultimate. He's always
That's
kind of
racism.
like complimentary to me.
But see, that's why he was so good in Bullet Train, to Greg's point, is that like he was not the lead in that film. He's a little comic relief. He doesn't have to play the ultimate badass. And I'm with you. I think he's miscast as that role. I didn't actually really think anything of him until I saw Bullet Train. And then I was like, oh, okay, this guy's got something, but he's just not the typical,
He's
let's
Kick-Ass.
write this. Yeah. Well, I mean, but Kick-Ass was also, it was a complex
But he was
role.
also a
No,
kid.
but what I mean is like he works as the kick-ass character.
Yes.
He doesn't. I
He
mean,
doesn't
he
work
has
as-
the look of a badass, but he's not Kraven the fucking
No, he's not
hunter.
Kraven the Hunter.
He's like extremely muscular and stuff.
But
Obviously,
she didn't see
Was
that
he?
coming.
I didn't think he was that big.
you didn't think the
Hit it, Barrett!
You didn't think the center section, midsection looked good and ripped?
What do we call those?
Abdominal muscles.
Hit it, Barrett!
I don't know if he's there.
Oh shit!
What
is he doing?
I said now something, Bob.
What is he doing out there?
It's time to rank those abs.
There's a million things I gotta do. We're 1 week from fucking holidays, man.
Oh man, the new Persona spoons just went on sale.
She fucking got me. That's what I was really doing. I'm sorry.
My ghost trap and PKE meter arrive
Are they-
tomorrow. I can't talk shit.
Are they those little tiny spoons? that you
like a
like?
spoon like your grandma would have in there.
These abs were
Oh my god, the abs on this guy.
Christ.
This man
Jesus Christ.
This man looked amazing, and they also use like every amount of perfect lining to just
The ray
show.
tracing,
The
you
ra-
know?
every
My
all the
God.
shading looked amazing. This dude was ripped as hell.
Dude, there was a moment at the end where he puts on the vest and it's terrible. It looks terrible. It's weird. Anyone that's even in any comic book world would look at this thing and go, I'm not putting that on. It's fucking ugly.
Counterpoint.
Yeah.
What did they have him in the rest of the movie?
I mean,
'Cause I
cool.
hated it. I
Really?
hated it. So I mean, I also think this looks stupid, but like I would have much rather this than his weird ass like.
He said like
like a Kevlar
Electra,
vest,
yeah,
kinda.
like Electra
Yeah.
vests.
What are we doing?
And leather.
But I'll tell you what, when he sits down and does that pose,
Powerful.
let's put it this way. I started counting the abs. Andy, I lost count.
Wow.
Got lost in
He
the
looks good.
line.
When
looks
he
as
sat
fuck.
down, I was like, I could do with another 20 minutes left of this movie. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like we should add on some time to it.
Let's let him
we didn't
slink
need
down
that.
to
We didn't
chair.
need that. We didn't need that.
I'm with Greg though. I thought this movie was also just like boring for the most part in the beginning, and then we got some decent action sequences that I was excited by.
There wasn't, Madam, what we talked about, right? Of how it's so bad, it's funny, it's a cult classic. Like there was like pangs of that. We got a few
Tiny
line
bit.
deliveries from Rhino
Smallest
where you're like,
little thing.
that was funny and not on purpose.
My
but
favorite
fun.
thing is when he was just standing there, and all of a sudden he just goes, ah!
Yeah.
Why?
Well,
What
because
the
he was
fuck's
letting out
funny
the
about
anger.
that,
You know?
man?
Yeah, he was acting.
That was
You think
really
Rhino's
bizarre.
always got it in control, but this guy.
Chad, I'm not like this is not an exaggeration. One of Rhino's homies, like if right hand man walks in the room and goes, the hunter got away, right? And he's standing there against the table and he goes, just
Then
like
he
that.
composes himself to show you the power Rhino has. He can let the steam off if he needs to, but then he can
But it
crack
was like
back on.
it was definitely a double whammy because we laughed at the guy's line delivery of
Yeah.
him walking and be like, "The hunter got away." And then that sound followed. We're like, what is going on right now?
Some of the ADR in this shit was just ridiculous.
What's the
man.
line from the
wasn't
lawyer
ADR.
lady? What's the lawyer lady said something outside of a plane? We all burst out
Yeah.
laughing.
She was like, something feels off about this. You're like, everyone's been killed already. No, the worst thing, and I have never seen this before. And maybe it's been in film for a while, and they just don't do it better. But it's not ADR anymore. It's literally mouth replacement. Did you catch that?
Yeah, there was a couple scenes where I was like, was this computer generated?
Her face is there. It's from it's from the same. No. It's they literally, I think, just took out her mouth because they needed that shot. They needed another wild line, and they comped her mouth in, but it's AI, and it looks like Princess Leia's mouth.
When they were talking in the fucking dome.
The biodome. We'll call it the biodome.
There was a part where she was standing there a really awkward long time like this with her head turned like this, completely still, but her mouth moving. And I was like, wait. And then they came back and then it was the real footage. And I was like, did they just fucking paste this together?
It was weird. I mean, it reminded me a lot of Madam Web, the Ezekiel in that, who was just such a bad guy. But like, there was like something to it where almost everything he did or said was laughable. The Rhino is one of the worst actors I've ever seen in my life. Yeah.
The thing is,
okay.
I'm saying
Let's
it.
all stand down for a second
Let's
because
stop
he's
for a
great.
second.
Your
yes.
mind is my mind.
My
What
mind is
movie
your
are we
mind.
thinking of and we love him from?
I can't. I was trying to pull
Face Off.
Yes,
He was
the
a-
younger brother in
What?
Face Off.
He was
Yes,
Nick
thank
Cage's
you.
brother. And clearly they brought him in here and they're like, we need you to do that again, but be like socially weird as shit. He's like, all right, give me the fucking paycheck. I'll do it.
It was horrible, and I had to look up to see who he was, and I got a real kick out of Rhino here. But if you scroll in the cast, we got Chi Lewis Perry as Big Rhino.
Nice. I like that. I appreciate that.
All right, let's call him that. But yeah, he wasn't the worst actor though in this movie because there was also Fred Hetchinger, who was the one of the kids from Gladiator 2, who I just praised. You know what I mean? Loved him there.
Oh shit!
I know him from White Lotus.
And White Lotus as well.
Yeah. And he was great in White Lotus.
I thought so too. What happened here?
I mean,
look,
you can't blame him for this.
I do though.
You have the casting director and the director.
I blame
and you
everyone
got the
for
part,
this.
and here's what we want you to do. It's fucking you're the goddamn chef, and I'm ordering the cheeseburger, and I want it to have shit all over it. You're like, all right. They're like, give me the poorest man's version of Joaquin Phoenix's The Joker. All right, got it.
I do. I mean, I thought he had some sequences near the end where I really like enjoyed some of the line delivery. I didn't think he was bad. I just don't know. It kind of reminds me of what in review did we watch recently when I was like, that dude was in a different. Oh, it was Venom Last Dance. And I'm blanking on the actor, but I was like, you're
Mordo.
Huh?
Mordo?
Yeah. The
Chiwetel Ejiofor.
Yeah, Chiwetel Ejiofor. I was like, that dude doesn't know what movies he's in.
No.
He's like obviously way too good for this. And I'm not saying that this guy was way too good, but I felt like I enjoyed some of the line deliveries, and I just don't know if they really knew what to work with.
I am a lot lower on this movie than I think you guys are. Like this was offensively boring. I feel like the nonsense of it was not fun. Way too much shit going on. Way too many characters we get their full backstory, but we get nothing. We get fucking nothing. Who is this foreigner guy?
I'm the foreigner.
He just counts.
Oh, one.
What the fuck? And I feel like there's like 4 different characters that they explain their backstory as. There's a doctor in New York. And that's it. That's the extent of it.
I think
They
it's the same
explain,
doctor.
But all this mystic. Well, first off, we don't know who the hell the doctor is.
They gave the name.
They name drop him. I don't know who it is. And it
No,
doesn't
we all
matter.
know who it is. Hey, it's me, Dr. Michael Morbius.
See, and that's what I was hoping for. And then when they didn't, and like even when are we in spoilers for spoiling this movie? Right?
Yeah.
When Chameleon at the end is like, I saw a doctor in New York. I was for a second I was like, I'm like, oh right, it's the fucking whoever the Rhino name drop that I didn't know.
Yeah.
Like they're so afraid to just have fun with it and
To
be
do
like, I
anything.
fucking saw Dr. Parker. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah.
There's Daily Bugles here and there. It's like, all right, cool. That's like the only tie. But looking at the premise on Wikipedia, Kraven has a complex relationship with his father, which sets him on a path of vengeance and motivates him to become the greatest and most feared hunter. I didn't get that from this movie. Just at all.
And the reason you didn't get it was the biggest uphill battle that all these movies have is that Kraven works better as a bad guy to a hero because it's way more fun to have him be like to be able to go there. The fact that he has to be a hero of some sort means that he has to live by some level of code, which means that he can't do crazy shit like the rest of everyone can. So they're basically they're a little handcuffed in that regard.
I mean, that doesn't stop him from throwing a bear trap at a
Miles
guy's face.
Warren, the Jackal, Dr. Miles Warren, who is the Jackal apparently.
I mean, they suck at like building any type of
totally.
reference of relevance of any of that.
Here's what also sucks. Like so much was fumbled, right? Like this, I don't want you to think I thought this movie was good, Tim, but like
No,
I
I don't.
thought there was like
Defend it. You love it.
a couple of decent scenes of action where I was like, oh shit, wow, that was kind of cool, and I liked watching him jump down that building and crashing into the glass or whatever. But I was kind of compelled by this foreigner character, and then it just ended up being nothing, and who cares? Anytime he would pop in, I'm like, what's going on with this?
Dude,
This
I
is
like
like
it.
maybe there's something deeper here. I like
Dude
his,
from the boys.
I like
or the
his,
girls.
I like
girls. Dude from girls.
I like his line delivery. I think he's like kind of just mysterious. He's got a weird vibe about him. And the way that he would do shit, I'm like, whoa, what are they kind of hinting towards? And then he just gets shot in the eye with an arrow. Definitely by somebody who, like, you know, Tim,
Summer camp.
let's just say there's a lot you don't know about me.
actually says it,
anytime a movie
dude.
does that, it's just like the biggest fucking joke. And yeah, they had to force that line in, Greg, of her with the crossbow going, don't act like I'm not such a rookie with this, you know. Summer
It
camp.
must have been a reshoot, right? Because
Archery.
she hits the button and it all folds down. You're like, that's lame, but it's, I guess, cool
So
in
slow.
theory. And
Why
then
was
the
there, like,
next,
four
the
of them?
next scene, they do it again. I'm like, all right, Kraven, we understand you got the
Do you
fucking
think they
thing.
have to go in and manually push them back
Yep.
up?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It is interesting, like trying to think about things I liked about the movie. Like I feel like I didn't really particularly like any action scene, but I liked action moments. I do feel like there was like
Dude
a
split
lot
by the tree.
of the guy getting exploded by this tree was like one of the most graphic things I've ever seen. There was like a couple cool extreme violence in a comic book movie moments that like we don't get that often. I was like, all right, that's kind of cool. And the way he moved was entertaining to me.
Yeah.
I don't want to call it good,
Yeah,
but
no,
like
totally,
him
totally.
being
They made
on
choices.
ground and they made some choices with this. But make Kraven as this like lion blood fueled animal is just not my favorite.
Remember
take on Kraven.
the lion's blood fell in his hole.
It did go in the hole.
We saw that whole puddle kept on splooshing. You know?
Let me tell you too, because I believed that magic potion that her grandmother gave her in the middle of Ghana, and then we never saw the grandma again. I believed
She died.
it.
Yeah.
I believed it.
And but then remember, she had a giant jug of the stuff as well.
Yeah,
She's
she
kept
did.
forever.
Yeah,
Always
it was-
with her at her lawyer office.
Yeah, of course, in your bag.
Also,
With-
shout out. I was just thinking about this too.
Deepest.
Remember when we're fucking talking about all these powers the Kraven's got? Remember when he rack focuses on the cigarette and doesn't pick it up and doesn't track him with a cigarette? He's just like, that guy dropped his cigarette.
No, he
All
knew
right.
that's a Turkish cigarette.
No, he didn't.
That's how
Did
they
he?
tracked it
Yeah.
back.
I
to
will
him.
also say that a lot of cigarettes are Turkish cigarettes.
Yeah, the leaps in logic of like we are worldwide in this movie, and people finding each other is
But
just
he-
as easy
I'm a
as
hunter. It's what I do.
It's what I do.
It's what I
okay.
do. It is. It is.
Even though then he
disappointing 'cause-
teams up with the lawyer, I apologize. And it is just like, you can track people when I can't. I'm like, wait, why couldn't you be
Why
able to
couldn't you be
track?
able to? Isn't that your thing?
Remember when
Like-
she looked out the window? It was just like,
Dude,
oh, there's
you're-
5 guys
You're
here.
right. There's 5 guys that look like they don't belong here. You're in a lawyer office and there's 5 guys in suits. What the fuck are you talking about?
Such a great, terrible moment.
We've already established you defend horrible people. So why do these guys not look like they belong there?
Yeah, that's a fantastic moment. We should probably explain that moment when we get to that part for people who
We'll never
just
see this
watch
movie.
in review and just kind of watch.
If you want to start plot, we can plot it.
Yeah. But I thought this movie had some like just abominations of editing moments. All of the crossfading stuff whenever he'd go to like this whatever
Spiritual realm,
all the
kind
like
of.
any time that he was zooming in and seeing something and it's like the iris of his yellow eyes kind of it was such bad editing and
I love
choices, you know.
A tiger's eyes, lion's eyes.
He bit off a dude's nose.
He did.
Yeah.
He spit out the
Yeah.
nose.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he
That's
did.
the hero of this
He
film.
did.
Did that? He sat on a man's lap in a car and then bit his fucking nose off. And I don't even think the guy died. I think he was just like, I want to be dead.
That was insane. That was crazy.
And then we also got a great Captain America moment, but we'll get to that.
Barrett, I
when
see
we
the
do plot.
crossfades you're
Oh
doing.
my god, yeah.
But you need these cross dissolves need to be about 17 seconds each of just and then like an eagle soaring.
Dude.
Like, it would look just like stock
Yeah, like,
footage, man.
I know we're gonna get into all of this, but like, does he control the animals?
No, he just talks. He can
Does he talk to
commune
them?
with them. He can
Does
commune
he?
with them. Yes.
Like,
He has
is there an example in this movie that we see him communicating with the animals? That's not just the animals doing what he would
sort of
want them
talks
to
to
do.
the cat a little bit.
What
He's like,
about
"You
the
don't hunt
yak?
me."
The yak. All the yaks are running through the field. He stops his yak and he stares at the yak, and the yak's only got one horn. And he says, yakety yak, don't hit me. All right, you know what I mean? And then the yak's like, all right, I'll see you later. Then all the yaks get murdered. Then another group of yaks get murdered. But then that yak that I thought we cared about is still alive to circle literally the wagons
Very
around
strategic.
them.
Yeah.
I'll remember this. Does anybody else see this? Yes, everyone. No one else makes a comment. The other guys just drive and say, or maybe we break. Maybe we break and let the yaks pass.
It was amazing.
I can't wait to break this movie down scene by scene, and we're going to do just that.
Stop it, Barrett.
After a word from our sponsors. Still Wakes the Deep is a first-person narrative horror game from the genre masters at the Chinese Room. Featuring an all-star cast of Scottish actors, it combines grounded storytelling with unknowable horror for a truly unique and terrifying adventure. Set at Christmas 1975, you play as Kaz McCleary, a family man running from the police by taking a job on the Barra-D oil rig. But the holiday cheer turns to festive fear as something incomprehensible comes aboard and starts wiping out everything in its path. With your escape routes cut off and no way to contact the mainland, your only hope is to run and hide as you make your way across the collapsing rig. Navigate pitch black corridors, crawl through tight underwater spaces, and try not to make a sound during tense stealth sections. Whatever you are afraid of, Still Wakes the Deep has something that will freak you out. To celebrate the festive season, Still Wakes the Deep is currently 35% off on Xbox Series X and S and PlayStation 5. Buy today and add some horror to your holidays. This episode's brought to you by Aura Frames. Isn't it funny how the people we love most are often the hardest to shop for? Luckily, there's one gift that everyone on your list is sure to enjoy: an Aura digital picture frame. Aura frames make it incredibly easy to share unlimited photos and videos directly from your phone to the frame. And when you give an Aura frame as a gift, you can personalize and preload it with a thoughtful message and photos using the Aura app, making it an ideal present for long-distance loved ones. Greg, Kevin, and a ton of people at Kinda Funny are obsessed with their Aura frames. It takes about 2 minutes to set up a frame using the Aura app. That means you'll be able to easily add all the photos of the new memories that you will create this holiday season. Save on the perfect gift by visiting auraframes.com to get $35 off Aura's best-selling Carver matte frames by using promo code KindaFunny at checkout. That's AURA frames.com, promo code KindaFunny. This deal is exclusive to listeners, so get yours now in time for the holidays. Terms and conditions apply. auraframes.com, promo code KindaFunny.
Yes.
Water
Mom,
buffalo.
stay out of this. You'll learn real quick. I'm going to call the characters and the animals whatever I want to call them. Yeah, stay out of this. You're not Mike. Nobody can hear you over there, all
I feel
right?
like there's a lot of yakking coming out from over the side.
Barrett, Google old folks' homes.
He is Kraven. In the distance he can see. That's the only verse I thought
Wow.
of as a dedication to the
Dimitri.
younger brother
Yes.
only ever having a verse in a song, and that's it.
Did you notice he didn't finish a single song in this movie? At one point he just leaves this.
He did
You
that.
take
He
it.
literally
You
sang
take
the
it.
verse and then
But-
went like this to the band, and
but
everybody
that-
goes, "Oh, great job, Dimitri."
That was a great moment because that was clearly not the song choice that they had while they recorded that, because
Oh, yeah?
none of the mouth stuff matched up, and he kind of waves at a part where there is no musical beat.
Yeah.
It was just him being like, he's Dimitri, the brother's at the piano, and he's like, I wanna know. And he sits and walks away. They're like, that's the verse. That's the
Guess
whole
we're done.
song.
It was more better just like, and this one's for my papa. I wanna fuck you like, it's like, you know what I mean? Like, dude.
I'm telling you, this Dimitri character, the fucking chameleon, might be one of my least favorite characters in a Marvel movie ever. I hated him.
He reminds.
Well, I don't know what. He's got a little tiny torso.
Oh man.
He's got small arms, right?
Yeah.
And to the point where I thought that they were Steve Rogering his body, because I
Yeah.
thought a transformation was going to happen to then make the comparison even more extreme and drastic. But I was just like, I was like, what's happening? Something was just off. I don't know.
He was almost as good at impressions as you.
Tiny, really good at impressions.
I love Tony Bennett. I'm like, oh, okay. Thanks for calling it out, because I was like, there's ADR. Oh no, he's changing he's chameleon. Okay, I got.
Yeah, he can do impressions of
Chameleonaire.
anybody's voice.
Yeah.
What is
Greg.
it?
Welcome to Kraven, everybody. Guess where you're at? The Eastern Bloc.
Of course.
We're in Russia or something. They don't ever really put it down. But we're driving through just a frigid cold. You know what I mean? You ever been to Russia?
I have not.
Anybody here? this place looks like it sucks. You know what I mean? Have we ever seen a positive portrayal of Russia? No.
I think Hollywood could lie to us, and I'd believe this is how it looked. It's
the same thing when if you go to Mexico, they put that
It's always
weird
orange.
yellow filter on. Yeah. Anyways,
I will say I like that they started with, I think it's the Russian national anthem, which I believe was the same song in The Hunt for October. Or there's, of course.
You said that out loud during the movie.
There's the great scene where they start singing it, and he goes, and they're like, and then Sam Neill's like, they're gonna hear us, and he goes, no, let them sing.
Yeah.
Like he tells him that.
Yeah,
And I'm like,
yeah.
that's pretty fucking cool.
see, for me, like I'm so broken by the Rocky movie when Dragoff comes off and they
Yeah.
play his anthem, which is maybe it was the Soviet Union anthem or whatever.
Yeah.
Because then in Backyard Wrestling we had Faf enter that. So whenever I think of the Russian anthem, da, 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 and I'm listening, I'm like, this isn't it. No, it wasn't.
Oh,
They're
I
different.
see, I
They're
see,
different.
I
They're
see,
different.
I see.
It
I do
doesn't
want to
matter.
say that this movie, our showing of it in the theater, somebody clapped at one moment.
Yeah. When she was like,
The arrow hit the girl in the head.
Yeah.
yeah, the guy,
hit the
when
guy in
the
the
girl
head,
shot in the
yeah.
head.
Three
Yeah. She had
Wow.
three motherfucker. That's what it was.
I do also want to give a shout out to the gentleman sitting by himself in front of us that during the entire period of the previews, just kept getting up, going and getting one thing and coming
Standing
back
there.
and placing it And I was
Towards
like,
us, just putting one thing down. What are you
During
doing?
the Michael B. Jordan
Man,
movie,
it's shocking
which I'm
that on a Friday afternoon at noon at Kraven, we're not getting the cream of the crop, guys. San Francisco's finest. London Brie wasn't there to be part of it.
I was
during the
literally-
Michael B. Jordan trailer,
It's a great
that's
trailer.
directed by Ryan Coogler, like he's just standing in front of Nick, and at one point he's still standing, and Nick goes, "Fucking sit down."
Sit down. Why are you sitting?
Nick was so annoyed.
Sit down.
We're in the Easter Block. It's nighttime. We're on a prison transport vehicle. They eventually pull over and say, everybody get off and relieve yourselves. You got 5 minutes or whatever the fuck they say. Everybody gets back except for prisoner 415 or whatever. It don't matter. They go off to find him, and guess what? He's on the other side. And they say, prisoner 415, you thought the wolves would eat you alive
I'm
out
gonna guess
here.
it's 0489. I think that's it.
I don't think that's right, actually. I'd bet a pizza on
You know,
it.
John Cena loves Honda.
I heard that. I did hear that
That
today.
was super cool.
Anyways, they turn around and guess what? It's Kraven the Hunter, everybody. They put Kraven the Hunter on the prison transport. They take him back and you're like, man, here, this is how we're opening the movie with him in jail. Oh my God. He's going to fuck some shit
How's
up,
he gonna
ain't he?
get out of this one?
And so he gets put into jail and they give him some stuff and then he goes into his fucking cell, they call it, and he's got a roommate. It's fucking Lurch from the Addams Family, and Lurch does not like roommates. And Kraven's like, I don't like roommates.
peanut?
Yeah, exactly. Andre the Giant, rest in peace.
I thought this was kind of cute.
Yeah, agreed.
I think it's on a good start, and he's like, and then eventually, you know, Craven's like,
Big dude's
"Can I
like-
sit with you at lunch?" He's like, "No."
Big dude's like, I like to, fuck people up. They last a week or whatever. He's like, give me 3 days and I'll be out of your hair. He's like, it's here for life, idiot. Okay, deal. And then, can I sit with you at lunch now? They go out into the yard and they're doing some barbells, you know what I mean?
Bench pressing.
Exactly. And two guys walk over and they're like, yo, Kraven the Hunter with your cool neck tattoo. This will be very important. Your cool neck tattoo.
important.
We don't fucking like you. So get off our bench. And then he's like, I won't. He's like, push the barbell down on his chest. And they're like, now you will. And he's like, the fuck I will. And he pushes him up and like, whoa, this guy's as strong as an elephant. They don't say that, but they're thinking it. You know what I mean? And then he does some wacky move and then slams
looked at
their
them,
heads
he went,
down. Yeah, exactly.
Like,
His
whoa.
trunk hits him. Guards come, they apprehend him. Eventually, maybe this is the guards take him. I don't understand the plot point exactly, but this leads to him being in the, hey, I run this. I'm the bad guy in the jail that runs the jail. And so he's in his jail cell, but he's got a TV and he's got all the cool stuff on his desk. And he's like, I run the gang in here. And the guards throw him in there. And there's two bad guys, and then the baddest of the bad guys at the table. He's like, who the fuck are you? Whatever kind of thing. And he basically is like, I hunt people. He's like, oh, I hunt people like you. Oh.
Rubbing a little lion skull.
Yeah, really fake fucking, really fuck.
Jaguar
Yeah.
tiger.
They got a tiger skin rug down there or whatever. Really fake as shit, though. You know what I mean?
Looks like a Siberian
And he's
tiger,
rubbing the
right?
head really stupidly. And he's like, wow, I hunt people like you. What? And he takes the tooth out and he goes, yeah. And he jams the one tooth in the one guy. The other guy tries to run. He goes, yeah. And he breaks his back, maybe. I forget. And then he's like, we'll go over to the guy at the desk and shoves the desk against the wall and talks some shit to him and then gets him in the jugular, I think, or whatever. And like, blah, 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 I'm Kraven.
A lot of violence.
So then the door opens up. And I thought this was a good scene of violence. And I was like, okay, this action's enjoyable.
Other than the dialogue, which I don't think necessarily worked, and I think some of that, unfortunately, was the delivery of the dialogue, and some of it was the accent, and some of it was just the way it was written, because it was very, 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 like, kind of blah. I at this point, I'm like, we're off to an okay start. I don't think this is going to be a bad 2 hours. I'm enjoying this. It's campy, but it's fun.
Here's where I'm at with the state of movies like this, and
Where's Idiot?
and even a movie like.
You can blame it all on Kraven. I'm done.
Oh, okay.
Next
bicycles.
And the state of something like Blade, which keeps on getting pushed and delayed. Just John Wick, these movies, they can be just pure violence with some hints of that's cool and badass. And even though it's cheesy, I'm loving what I'm seeing. But they're really trying to make these movies like a substance filled. It's like you don't have to do that. We're not expecting that from you, and we know you can't hit that
can't
target.
do it.
Just make it a violence fest and just make it the most like fucking action bullshit ever. And we'll probably walk out being like, hey, that was the story was whatever, the acting was whatever, but all of that kind of rocked. But they really, really want to hit you in the feels and like it's like
He has
you
a
don't gotta
complex
be that.
relationship with his father.
You don't gotta be that.
The guard opens the door, goes, oh, everybody's dead. Kraven grabs that guy, throws him down. He's out the thing. Sirens are going. Everybody. Kraven's just taking it like a spider monkey, just straight up the fucking. He's doing the crazy movement.
Ridiculous.
Yeah,
right? I did
This is
kinda
before
like
we
it,
knew
though,
about the tiger blood, though.
Because it looks like when you watch those videos of like lions and tigers like running on the walls and deers and shit. I'm like, that's pretty
fucking
exactly.
awesome, dude. When he jumps out the window, grabs the roof, and whips himself back, I was like, oh shit, this is kind of sick.
Everybody, all these fucking Russian guards, they got
Awful
perfect.
shooting.
They have the perfect beat on them. There's the flashlight is on their gun, and it's a perfect circle on Kraven. They're still shooting left and right. They can't do it. You know what I mean?
Can't shoot him.
It's like Ernest Goes to Camp. If the warrior was true, the arrow wouldn't hit him. Anyways, though, the
course.
warrior that is Kraven is bobbing and weaving or whatever. Right?
That was number 4 on the list, right? Of the ranking.
Yeah, exactly. He jumps out.
Or
He
no
gets
ragu.
out. He runs. Then just and he's running. If I was closer, I would have told him. He's running like Andy when Andy beat my balls off in that race. You know,
Yeah.
he's like and he's running. And then he's running. He's like, well, there's a snowstorm. I'm gonna run into that. And I was like, cool. This is his plan. And he runs into the snowstorm. But then he kind of gets. I
looks a little
thought
confused.
I thought he got turned around. And I was like, okay. But then a wolf shows up, a really bad CG wolf. It's like real bad. Yep. And Kraven then stares at him and flashes his eyes, and the wolf stands down. Again, communication with animals.
Wolf goes, Kraven.
But this isn't.
What is the worst impression you've got? It's not even close.
Then he beelines it to this cargo plane, runs on there. It's driven, of course, by his fearless friend, the pilot, who's female, and we never see.
Why does she like feel like she's a character, but she's not?
Because
Wait,
she must have been a character. Because stick with me, this happens. They take off. They never show her, and I was like, okay, weird. Because she's got lines. It's not like she's nobody. Yeah. And then way later in the film, when he's like, go to this field, I have a friend or whatever. I'm like, oh, it's the pilot. They're gonna do a big reveal, and they never do. The plane lands. The lawyer woman walks off, and I was like, clearly there was another plot thread we put in here. Some other my pilot Felicia, you know what I mean, is
You're
gonna
blowing
pick
my
her.
mind. I forgot about all of it.
Like, it was just like when they do that thing where like, all right, here's a meatball of a plot point right down the home plate. You're like, all right, you're gonna know you fucking whiffed on this.
This wasn't a random hired gun. This was somebody who's like, do you do the thing? He's like, same thing I do all the time. And it's like, oh, they got a little rapport here. And then you're right. I just forgot she was a
How'd
thing.
it go? Same way it always goes. Bad for them.
What's
I'm a tiger.
the female voice from Hitman? You know, she's like Agent 41. Not Cortana. Fucking.
I don't know.
I'll look it up.
We don't
That's what I assumed it was going to be. Because otherwise, of course, there's got to be a plot here with this person. If not, why not have
Diana?
Diana, thank you. Why not have the star of the movie, the protagonist, who could do anything, just walk onto the plane and pilot the damn thing out?
No. Anyways, though, they get on, they take off, and bad for them. And then Kraven just goes, I got a lot to think about. And we go 16 years earlier, right? And it's Kraven and his brother. We got Dimitri and Siegfried, and they're just chilling. Yep. They're just at the school like, we are two handsome boys with bowl cuts, you know what I mean? And then the principal's like, come to school. What did you do? I didn't do anything that you did. Dad's coming to pick us up. Oh, shit, Dad's an abusive prick. And then they get in the limo, and the limo drives away, and the limo driver puts up the thing. So what's going on, Papa? Papa, what's going on?
You need to fucking be a man.
Hey, your fucking mother is dead, eh? You know what I mean? She went crazy. She was weak. I saw them about that.
Why do they not have accents, these kids?
They're in New York. They're in New York.
So they've just grown up in New York their entire life?
Yeah. He's a chameleon. He's blending in. And Kraven is the most perfect hunting machine of all time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, okay.
And again, they were up there because they loved their mom, and her mom, but her mom went crazy. And here's the other plot point. I'm like, well, cool. We're clearly doing any other bad guy thing where we're going to find out that the dad put her there, and she was Never crazy. He did something new. No.
Yeah. I
So
thought that
it's
was gonna be
really
something.
bizarre. Again, there's so many plots in this that just don't make sense, and characters that are like, why are you here? And if you're here, what's this like the deal with you and how you connect to these other characters? The mom plot is one of the more bizarre ones where it's like, all right, she went crazy, kills herself, or did she? We don't know. It kind of feels like that didn't really happen. But we keep getting the shot of her going nuts. She starts screaming, spiders, 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 spiders. And then
Well,
later,
yeah, that was the thing of like when you get darted, it'll be your biggest fear.
and so your biggest fear is because your mom, which you weren't there to see, went crazy and kept screaming spiders, and then a bunch of spiders come around. It's like, is this because of Spider-Man?
Yes.
Yes.
What the actual
For
fuck?
us, the audience.
I think you're missing the point too that spiders are just really scary.
True.
That many spiders is super
Yeah.
scary. Yeah. But it was also like, ripped right from Smallville. It was this Chloe Sullivan's mom. Don't forget, everybody. All right. And then Chloe, they did it better over many seasons. Chloe worried about she was going to end up in the loony bin too.
There was just no moment of this movie that made me go, "Oh, Kraven's scared of spiders." That's
no.
his biggest fear.
Yeah. 100%.
At all.
Are we going to a funeral, Papa? A funeral.
She doesn't know she was.
It's not an honorable death.
Yeah.
Your
Instead,
mother
we're
was
gonna go
weak.
hunt. We're gonna go hunt lion. All right. There's been reports again of the lion that I've been chasing forever. We're going to Africa in North Ghana to do this. Kids in the car. Okay, cool. It'll be fun, he says. Then we cut to North Ghana, where yes, it is Calypso and her grandmother. Calypso's playing with the tarot cards, and Grandma's like, "Those aren't toys. Your mom and dad are gonna get pissed off because they're lawyers. They don't believe in the mystic shit. You know what I mean? They believe in the law and looking at animals." And she's like, "I just like them." She teaches her in 2 seconds how to use tarot cards. As somebody who got sent Ghostbuster tarot cards, let me tell you, kids, it ain't this easy to understand tarot cards. All right, I got these sent to me. I started reading the instructions. I was like, "This is too much."
Don't
I
let me
can't.
get your hopes up.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Don't think you're gonna go. You're not gonna whip these out and talk to Abraham Lincoln tonight.
He's your go-to, huh? Old Abe.
Anyway,
Abe.
Papa Lincoln. Anyways, they do the one card reading. She's like, "Oh shit, here's the strength card, and you're gonna get into some shit eventually, very soon, really soon. So here's a little vial of this leaf juice. It looks like it's like vanilla extract, but trust me, when you need it, it'll be there for you, or whatever." A little toot. Then we go back to the Kraven family, Kraven Moorhead. They're out there, they're hunting. You know what I mean? They got tents and shit, they got guns and shit, and they're like, "We're hunting. This is what we do. This is fucking neat."
This is how you become men.
And there's there might have been an insulting portion already, and then the kid, Dad was mean to the little
guy.
brother Chameleon. Oh no, yeah, that happens too. I think that's
illegitimate
the
son or
morning.
whatever.
I think yes, and then outside, Dad is talking to the other guys, and they make a really thing like, "Maybe we can't. Is that the line? That's not the line. You'll know when you hear him. That might be his fucking half bastard son, like your half bastard son, huh?" And he's like, yeah. Don't blame him for me wanting to fuck other people, but he sucks. I hate him. He's got little arms.
And then a weird guy walks up to him to try to become friends with him.
Not yet. That's still nighttime. Then we go in the tent where they talk. The brothers talk a little bit more. Then it's morning, where yes, Calypso's out on the safari photo hunt. You know what I mean, like the PS3 game Africa. Never forget. And then we got never forget. And then Tokyo Jungle. Tokyo Jungle got your dogs in it.
I know that one.
Anyways, then it's time to go hunt the lion. We're out there hunting the lion. Everybody's like, "Oh man, we're two shitty little sons and we hate our dad, but this sucks and we're hunting. This sucks." Blah. And then Kraven's just like, "It's fucking bullshit. We're even using guns, right? Because like, if you were a man, you'd fight the lion with your hands." And at no point, Chameleon's like, "I don't know. That makes sense either. Maybe we just don't hunt these animals."
Yeah.
So
What was the line that they kept saying? At one point,
Yes.
you lead over to me like, "What are they saying?" And it's like humans are the threat. Humans must be the top threat, or something like that.
I think it was. Wasn't it something like humans are like the highest predator or something like
Yeah,
that?
but it was-
Apex
they-
I
predator
know
or
there was
something?
a line that they kept saying, but the accent was so thick. To me, it sounded like humans
Must
should be the
always
only
be the
one that
predator.
have a fear. So I don't know what it was. It's who gives a shit. But
Yeah,
it was.
yeah.
I understood the context was we need to be top of the food chain,
Yeah.
but I could not make it out through the fucking accents. Anyways. They're like, "Yeah, this fucking sucks. We should go back and play Tiddlywinks or whatever the kids do in upstate New York."
These
years
fucking
ago.
boys, man, like the way that they were written, of like the papa stuff was just like little brother, like big brother, like what the fuck, man?
It's tough for me too, and probably I'm sure
You
you'll-
have a
you'll-
brother.
I have a brother. We have brothers.
You
Yeah.
got- and Matt calls your dad Papa.
we do call him Dada.
Papa.
When these two brothers have these ridiculously overwritten like shows of emotion to each
Give
other,
little noogies and stuff, and it's just like, what the fuck, man?
it's so fucking cringy to me as a person who grew up with a brother. Because even with me, even if I was like, I'm gonna leave this house, this abusive house, and my brother was there, he would still take that moment to dunk on me. He would still call me something fucking horribly offensive and then like try to fucking ball tap me. And then I would never see him again. And we would just be super cool the next time we saw each other because that's how fucking brothers are. This shit is not real and it's cringe.
Yeah.
Papa. Anyways, while Kraven's going like, man, I would just love to go fucking fist fight. That's how I want to. Guess who shows up? King of the jungle. It's Mufasa. And he stares at him and he's all angry. He's all scarred up and shit or whatever. He's got just fucking huge tree trunk arms. You know what I mean? This is a guy. You know
Did the weird guy not already approach Russell Crowe?
Fuck,
Yeah.
I forgot it. Sorry, you guys kept tossing it outside in. So when we were on the start of this, before we got to this conversation, before we were on the line, weird guy shows up who is the guy from Face Off. And they're like, we need to make him look younger. Put him in long hair. Put him in long hair, which makes him look even weirder. He looks like the guy.
Javier Bardem hair
Yes,
from
that's what I was
No
about to
Country
say.
for Old Men.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very, very weird.
And he's like, hey, I want to make money. And he's like, and Russell Crowe's like, you're weak as shit. Get away from me.
We should be parties. He's like,
You're a
who
punk
the
ass
fuck are
bitch.
you?
Yeah,
It
you
was
know
very
what I mean?
odd.
Yeah, I came here to teach my son the joy of stalking, and you're stalking me with your bad voice. Get out of here. And he's like, I'll never forget this.
They're pulling a syndrome, Mr. Incredible.
Yeah, 100%. Right. Anyways, back to it. Mufasa shows up, right?
And shit gets wild. Like this lion showing up, them hunting it. I get it's a bad situation. These fucking people shouldn't be doing this.
Yeah, Jimmy
Like,
John.
What are we trying to do here? But the way that the lion mauls this young child, and the next 3 minutes of this film, where the lion drags him away, and we kind of get a point of view camera shot from inside the lion's mouth. It's like, I don't know that the R rating needed this. You know what I mean? Like,
Sure.
it just felt like very, very weird things for us to see as an audience.
Well, more importantly, even before then, right? Lion shows up. Dimitri, get behind me. And Siegfried has the gun drawn. And then he goes, you know what? And he puts it down. And they look at each other and both their pupils like do a little, hello.
There was a connection.
Yeah, exactly. Me and Andy have it a lot. And Lion's like, you know what? I will pow. She gets shot in the side, like, fuck yeah. And then he comes in and he gets him. And then he drags him. And yeah, it's blood. He's getting thrown around screaming.
So it felt like he was already making the connection with animals before the animal juice.
The animal juice and the blood just is strengthening what was already there.
Wow.
It's kind of like, it's a lot like,
Why?
it's a lot, well, if you don't like this, then you don't like Captain America, right?
Or
Because this is the classic
Catwoman.
conversation, right? The serum
cat.
just enhances what's already there.
Ah,
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Of course.
And Craven's always had a way with pussy. So as he gets drugged through all the weeds and all the stuff and he's bleeding or whatever, right? This is where, oh, sorry, hello? Oh. This is where Calypso is like, yo, I don't want to look at giraffes. I'm enjoying these tarot cards. And I'm trying to talk to Abraham Lincoln back here. All right.
Uh-huh.
Where did Mary Todd hide the gold? That's what I want to know.
Why did you turn into a Muppet there?
And so anyways, they're like, oh, look at all this fucking shit to see. And they're like, oh, don't you like this? It's the same shit.
Did you really hide documents in your top hat? There's a big rumor about him. Abraham Lincoln.
Doggy bits?
Documents
Oh, I didn't know that about him.
that he would. For a
I really
secret,
thought you like
he would
dog
put
treats.
him on his hat, put the hat on. He would put him on his head, put the hat on top of that, so that nobody could get to him. He knew that they're safe
This
there.
isn't true. This
No,
isn't true.
100%.
What if you sweat though, and then you get the documents out and they're a little smeared?
Yep. That's
You ever think about that Abraham Lincoln fall?
I don't think he thought about that. I think that was his undoing.
Calypso gets off though because she's just drawn over to these weeds and these bushes. And what does she see? She sees Mufasa dragging the kid, drop him, and then Mufasa is like fucked up. You know what I mean? I liked this guy, but I got shot twice in the side. I kind of fucked him up.
It was
Can
a
you
bad
help? And he
time.
does like the nose to Lady in the Tramp meatball. You know what I mean? And then he slinks away, and she goes over there, and she's like, "Shit, you know what? Glug glug glug. You know what I mean? Take this little vial of shit."
I don't know, for whatever reason, this scene reminded me of Wet Hot American Summer 2 with John Hamm, where he's like walking out, and he's like, all right, guys.
This is the whole explanation for what happened. That doesn't explain anything. You killed that guy. You know what? No matter what I say, you're not going to like the explanation. I'm just going to go.
gonna leave.
I'm just going
I'm
to
gonna
go.
leave.
Thank you. I'm going to go.
I also like that they set up this lion as if it's like the dopest lion that's ever existed. They're like, oh man, like,
I didn't think he looked that big.
We've
He
hunted
was
and
big.
killed so many lions and stuff, but there's this one.
Yeah.
This one was
one
muscular.
that we
Its
just-
arms were muscular.
Yeah, it was
Jack.
muscular. Yeah. Anyways, that little vial of life starts doing shit, and like the lion's blood's dripping into his blood holes.
they
and
kept on
we're
showing
doing it,
that.
and we're going inside, and the blood's getting
hole.
yellow stuff in it because I guess the DNA
Bacteria,
of a
probably.
lion saying is that's yellow.
Staph infection.
So that's
probably.
happening. Yeah,
I've
exactly.
seen all the weird images and shit. Like,
Yeah,
this
yeah.
was just bad.
Hats were important to Lincoln. This is from the Smithsonian. They protected him against inclement weather, served as storage bins for important papers he stuck inside their lining, and further accentuated his great height advantage over other men. There you go. Great job.
Maybe it was.
Manager,
I thought he
man.
just put them on his head, but
Yeah, the
they're in
lining makes more sense, right?
I still just I don't want us to underplay how just weird it was of the lion tooth wound and this blood that just kept on dripping into the lion tooth
I
wound
know.
in the body. It just looked so and weird, and they kept on focusing on it.
It just the perfect example of why I don't like this movie is Kraven's entire origin right here. It's like he could already kind of talk to the animals and communicate with them. Then he gets bit by the lion blood falls into him, and then he gets the magic syrup. There's just so many things.
Yeah, we didn't need the blood.
I mean, it's a perfect storm. Grandma's probably tried the serum and not got any powers.
Yeah.
Other guys have been putting lion blood in their blood for a long time. You know what I mean? But here we go. Boom, this is it. This is the perfect thing. This
You got
is
that
it.
one guy using
You're
his
right.
son as a blood bag.
Yeah,
Blood
exactly.
Oh
Yeah,
my
yeah,
God.
yeah.
Later, my favorite line in the entire movie is Rhino when he goes, I call this my food bag.
Oh yeah.
Feedback. Yeah. Anyways, though, Calypso runs back to her parents. They radio for a chopper. The chopper shows up. They put Kraven on there. Calypso slips the strength card into his hand. He gets airlifted to some hospital in Africa. They are like, listen, we've been working on him. They pump him. They defibrillate him. They do stuff. It's over. I'm calling it time of death, everybody. Then we go inside where, there's some mystical shit happening, right? Some yellows and reds getting together or whatever, right? And he opens his eyes. I think the pupils might have been yellow for a second. It goes beep, beep, beep.
Yeah.
And the lady's like amazed. And so then he's in his hospital bed. And is this a song or okay, thank you.
He's alive.
And he's like, hey, thanks for saving me. She's like, I didn't do shit, actually. I don't know what happened. We're going to run some tests and figure out what's going on. I hope you didn't get any lion blood in your hole. And then guess what?
Happens a lot around here.
The chameleon brother, and by the way, we've already revealed that the chameleon brother does a great impression of his dad, or is already doing impressions of their dad. Chameleon brother runs in and he's like, Papa, he's alive. And he runs over and they hug and they flick each other's ears and shit. And then Papa runs in and he's like, why didn't you shoot? First thing he says, why didn't you shoot? You know what I mean? Like, get your shit together. What the fuck's wrong with you? You know what I mean? And then I'm taking him home. Well, no, he needs to rest here. No, I'm taking him home. We have to get, we're blah, 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 blah.
Really toxic relationship.
And remember, this is still a flashback. We are still in the flashback.
Yeah.
And
Dude,
we are
it's so
not.
long.
We are not out of the flashback yet. We go back to their house, right? And they're like up in his room, and he's like, "This fucking sucks. I hate being here. We hate Dad." Yeah. And then he's like, "Well, go downstairs. Dad has a surprise for you." And he goes downstairs, and guess what? He killed Mufasa. And Mufasa's mounted on the wall. And Kraven hates this, and he's like, "I hate you. I should have killed you or some shit."
Yeah,
And it's like 180.
It's
on it.
fucking
And-
bizarre.
And that's like this actor who's playing the young version of Kraven. I really liked him, and you could tell that there are moments that were written and they just like clipped out parts that out of context, that line delivery I thought was really, really bad, and I'm sure it was awesome with better writing around it. But he goes, "It should have been you," and he does that, and I was like, man, that was awkward as fuck
Jarring.
because none of it that preceded it really made sense, and it was everybody kind of laughed when he did that because it was
Yeah.
so out of
And
nowhere.
so he runs upstairs and packs his little bag and does all this stuff. And nightfall comes and he goes out the window and he's crawling along the top of this castle they live in. And then poof, the gutter collapses. He falls and he lands like a cat.
Reminded me of Nathan Drake. Reminded me-
Yeah, 100%.
Reminded me of Catwoman.
Well, that part. Now the
brothers
orphanage,
escaping.
the orphanage part of Uncharted 4. Anyways, he lands like a cat. He's like, "Well, I can do cat shit." And he doesn't say that. He goes, meow, meow, meow. And he's then doing a few more cat little tricks and things getting out of there. And then guess what? His brother, who was up there, is just walked down the stairs. He got outside, no problem. Nobody needed to do these cat.
Why? There's no one guarding this. You're not kept in this house. You can come and go as you please.
This familial relationship. I'll take care of you. You take care of me. We loved Mom. That's why we're here in America, in New York. But she went into the insane asylum, and then she's dead. But now Dad, I'm leaving.
Yeah.
And rather than just tell you to pack a bag and come with me, and I'll protect you, I'm going to leave you here with the abusive father who is a drug kingpin that we know that Dad's bad or whatever. And that was the thing, by the way, too, at the Mufasa, where he's like, "You know what Daddy does or whatever." And he's like, "Yeah, and you're going to take over the business one day. We're going to send your brother back to New York because he's soft. And you're going to stay here and learn how to do it."
America make him weak.
And he's like, "No." So then he's just like, "No, you got to stay here. I can't take care of both of us," or some shit like that. I don't even know, whatever, blah, blah. And he's like, "Where are you going to go?" And he's like, "Do you remember where we used to lay in the trees and we'd only hear the owls and the crickets with Mom. That's all I have left of her. I'm going there. That's a fucking trek. That's a trek, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah, you go, and again, still flashback. Then we pick up at the harbor where he's like, "Hey, where you going?" He's like, "Where are you trying to go?" He's like, "I'm trying to get to my mom's cricket and owl farm." And he's like, "Oh man, that's far. Don't you know about trains and planes?" This is an adult talking to a child, by the way. Don't you know he's about planes and trains? And he's like, "Yeah." He's like, "You on the run?" "Yeah." "All right, get on the ship." You know, not even like yeah. Are you on the run? Yes, from my abusive father. You know what I mean? And he's like, "All right, get on the fucking ship, kid."
I would have loved if we cut to this harbor shipyard and it's just old Aaron Taylor Johnson at this point. Like it took him that long to find this boat, you know. But yeah, it's very odd. Like Leanne Neely in the chat makes a great point that is it a flashback scene when it takes up 1/3 of the movie? It is just the first act.
So then we go from there to we've left Siberia, Russia, right, and now we are back in Ghana, or do we know where we were? I forget where we were.
Wait. Oh, he's on a plane now, right?
No.
Oh, you mean when he
we
goes-
have
when he
now
gets to
taken
the
from the
biodome?
boat. We are now to where the yaks roam free.
I want to say it's Siberia.
Okay.
I want to say it was something like that because it was in Russia.
With the dome?
The biodome,
Yeah.
The
And so we
atrium
get there,
thing.
and he's walking, and he hears the thundering. He looks over there, and what does he see? He sees all these goddamn yaks running. And so they run at him, but he stops, and they go around him. He's like, "Oh, cool." And then he goes to where the mom used to let them sleep, where they have biodome, and it's beat to shit. Like, this is a structure that has seen better days.
Wait, my first thought is, where do you get the glass?
Glass is smashed. Well, I mean, later on,
I can't even
like
get a gate vendor to
got-
come out and fix the gate. How are you gonna get a glass guy?
And that was my thing. I was like, please don't turn this into your hideout. And he turns it into his hideout. I was like, where did you get the nice Kohler sink? He's got it's a lovely place.
He makes a lot of money killing people for hire. Right?
But I mean, right now he's a teenager. I mean, yeah, I guess he could have. But he does that. So he sees the biodome.
yeah.
We go in the biodome and we are like, oh, this is the place. The next scene is him sleeping outside of the biodome,
on a
leaning
tree.
on a tree.
Yeah.
Okay.
He likes to be outside. Well, you have to imagine. Actually, I kind of like the design of
The
dome
biodome's cool, yeah.
because it's basically nature, right? It's just you sleep, the sun wakes you
Yeah.
up, whatever. I thought that was pretty cool. Actually,
Yeah,
It
no,
looks like a
that's
very
a
relaxing
lovely place. Yeah,
I just don't know how the renovations.
Yeah,
began.
exactly. In the middle
Yeah.
of nowhere, private property will eventually find it.
There's an IKEA several blocks down, several jungles down.
What happens? He gets woken up from his slumber on the tree as a kid. Because that's a whole scene here. I forget what comes at
I
him.
forget
though.
why.
Doesn't matter really. Nobody cares. But something wakes him up, and that comes up, and there's a confrontation quotes there. And then I think from here we then go and we wake up and we are adult Aaron on the plane.
On the plane.
It
And
lands.
this is where you all woke up to. I heard some snores there, so some like Mike vibes in there.
There's somebody else.
It wasn't very long.
Oh, it was me, bro. I mean, it was 1,000% me. Like I was. This
Just
movie was
just reclined.
so fucking boring, and like I think in my entire life I've fallen asleep in a movie twice, ever.
Yeah.
I think I fell asleep 8 times during this movie, and it was always the briefest thing.
It was just a
And,
tiny
like,
doze off.
I would snore and wake myself up. You know what I mean?
Alex G3B points out, yeah, this is where he practices his powers. He gets woken up by a noise, and it's an antelope
right.
or a deer.
Yeah.
That takes off. Yeah. He chases. He jumps over the thing. And he does like this Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire look back of like, I just jumped over a huge chasm. Yeah, and that's where he's practicing all stupid powers or whatever. And we see he can do things like
can
a
do
cat.
things.
And
And
other
it looks
animals.
straight out Twilight. I
Yeah.
could not agree
Yeah,
more.
100%.
It
Yeah, it
was so
definitely
blue
does.
filtered in that
Yeah.
forest. Yeah.
And just the way he was animated
The eyes
running.
didn't help.
A lot
Yeah,
of Twilight. In this
yeah,
movie.
yeah.
The CG, all the CG animals. It
Dude,
was
the
just like,
CG was so. The rhino CG was. They really stuck on those shots as if they had something crazy good looking.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
So again, now we're back to adult Kraven, who's the plane has landed. We still don't know the pilot, and it takes off, and he goes back to his little dome, and he walks into this is where it's fucking straight out of like the best Airbnb you've ever had. You know what I mean? This is like one of those things the influencers get sent to, and like I did a partnership, and they sent me to northern Ghana where I stayed in this treehouse. And he comes in, the place is dope as shit, and he just crashes on the bed. He's so tie. He's a tie. But oh, sorry.
sees a little ball of yarn.
I skipped it. On his way there, he actually, before getting back to his amazing, like very modern Airbnb, he stops at the stream where in the middle of nowhere
He has
with
a
his
stupid
flip
phone.
he gets a voicemail from his brother in New York saying, "It's my birthday. Am I going to see
he
you?"
like puts it on like speakerphone, puts it down on a rock as he's grabbing
Grabs
fish.
a salmon, eats it with his knife like people eat apples.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh man, this is really a rugged wilderness man. Then he goes to his fully decked out Airbnb, amazing Kohler faucets and everything else, passes out in bed, goes to sleep. This is where I assume we will go and check in on Rhino.
I want to say I really wish it wasn't his brother impersonating his dad because the writing was so bad.
Yeah.
That like the voice line pops up and it's just Russell Crowe talking, but it's the brother impersonating him, but we don't know that. But in that, the writing is like,
I'm sorry for everything I've
hello,
ever done.
I'm sorry, I miss you. And I was like, this is awful. And then he was like, hey, just kidding, bro. And I was like, man, it would have been better if it was intentionally bad.
Yeah.
So then, we jump back over to Rhino where the news has reached him that the guy that Kraven killed inside of jail is the number one bad guy gang or whatever. So now Rhino can push on the gang and he wants to take control of the gang. So that's what he's looking for help doing, of taking control of the gang. And so this is where we're revealed and Rhino wears a little backpack or whatever.
Now, we have to talk about this.
We have to.
Because this movie had a budget. It was not cheap to make this
No,
film.
130 million.
And the best they could do is they gave this poor actor a peak design backpack that I thought, when he comes home with his dog, I thought it was just a Camelback.
Yeah, me
that
too.
He took out and
Me
was going
too.
to sip some water over the entire time. It wasn't until 3 scenes later where I was like, oh, it's like a serum thing that he's got plugged into him. I thought he was just really dehydrated and like really into that.
Was this the scene where you pointed out the license plate?
Yeah, the license plate said one Rhino, which I thought was just an Easter egg.
Yeah, me too. So let's just combine them. I agree.
Yeah.
This is the dog scene where he like makes his dog stand down because he's Rhino and he might look like he's a pushover, but this guy's got more going on than you think he does. So that's where he hears about the thing. And so then he sets up a deal with the top 3 guys from the now failed clan, right? And this is where the car pulls up and the license plate says Rhino, and I was like, oh, that's cool. And then he's like, steps out of the car and he's like, I am Rhino, and like, oh shit, like okay. This is going to be very on the nose. This isn't something they're hiding, right? And you're like, it's interesting that this guy is called Rhino, and this is the reveal of like, he's like, listen, you're going to work for me. I need the best pitch or whatever. And he's like, oh, you don't want to listen? Then watch this. And he takes the thing out, and then he starts hardening. His skin goes into Rhino skin.
But what
or
does he
whatever.
take out?
His little.
So he's got like a
IV.
tube,
Yeah,
like
it's
an
like
IV tube that plugs into his
Intravenous line.
his like ribs, his like a
side,
whatever,
yeah.
a little side or whatever, and it keeps him normal. But as soon as he unplugs it, he starts turning into like a rock creature or whatever. Very gross. Later on, the little stabbing didn't need that. Ugh.
So this is when one of the 3 guys then shoots at him because they're like, "Ugh, kill the guy," and then he gets back up. He's like, nice try, I'm super hard. Oh no, and then he kills that guy or whatever. And then he's like, all right, so who wants? He plugs it back in, and the guy's like, what? The totally normal henchman he has like, why do you want to do this? Like, they have to see it. Okay. Then he's like, all right, so who wants to make a pitch? And the other guy just shoots the other guy, and he's like, oh wow, okay, good pitch.
My favorite part is the Rhino going. It would make sense if a lion-based superhero like Kraven or something was like, I'll just like a lion, I'll track you in the darkest jungles and you'll never know I'm there. But the Rhino does something similar, and he's like, a rhino will always charge at its prey. It's like, shut the nobody
Stop.
knows about
Like, you
rhinos.
need to
Like,
stop.
I mean, he literally said that. He said something so absurd that I turned to Andy. I was like, I've heard it. I've heard that.
the
That's
facts
what I
about
hear
rhinos.
about rhinos.
Rhinos, they have one
everybody
horn
knows
on
that.
their head.
It's on the
Like,
laughing
elephants have great memories.
Yeah.
And rhinos will always, they never back down from a fight.
And so now we go to the Chameleons Club that his daddy Papa has bought him. And this is where we get the Tony Bennett thing. And hey, I did this thing. And it's the guy we just saw with Rhino showing up to have dinner with Russell Crowe. And he's like, hey, so Russell Crowe's like, your guy's dead. Like, you should let me take over the whole thing. And the guy's like, yeah, of course. And he's like, that easily? Yeah, of course. There needs to be a leader. And you guys are like, you already fucking made a deal, didn't you? He goes, the Rhino sends his regards. And Russell Crowe grabs the dude because there's a woman getting up with a purse and grabs the dude and turns it. And the woman blows that guy away. And then a bodyguard for Russell Crowe, I thought, pulls out his gun and shoots the woman. And then it turns out
It's
that this club, it turns out, is 50-50.
Yeah.
You're either on the Rhino
Gang
side or
warfare,
you're on the
dude.
Russell Crowe side. And they all kill each other except for
the young child.
chameleon who's underneath the piano and Russell Crowe who's using one body shield. So he gets up and he's
That
badass.
body shield got blasted so much.
He
man.
gets up and he gets out the vodka and he takes a swig because he's Russian. And he pours it on his wound. And Papa, you've been injured. He's like, nothing. You're a fucking coward for hiding. You know what I mean? They came in and they attacked me on
You hit on the
my
piano.
own turf. How is this possible? Oh dear Lord! And this sets the stage for our events. At this point, we see we jump over to Kraven. He's made his way to New York. Let's hear it on New York. Oh no, actually, London. We're in London.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
London.
sorry. So let's hear it for London. You got weird exes, but you got them fish and chips. Drink outside the pub. What about 1776?
Oh my
Yo,
God.
you fucking punks! America! America! Had a lot of good years, a lot of bad ones right now. Anyways.
Is it London or Paris that smells? Because I keep on like it always goes viral on social media every once in a while. Of like, man, I visited this place. It smells like piss, man. Is it Paris?
That's every big city.
I thought it was Paris. Maybe London. I don't know. It is Paris.
Anyways, Kraven goes crazy. He fucking crawls up this building like Spider-Man. He's hopping up balconies, doing the thing, blah, blah. Gets to the top balcony. The door is unlocked. He's like, all right. Comes in, and he's like sneaking, sleuthing through this house, right? And the shower is running, right? And I'm like, finally, it's my time to see an areola.
So few and far between.
He's really like fortunate that his brother puts on the robe inside of the shower.
Dude, exactly my thought as well. Where like he's got the giant walk. Okay, here it is. Yeah, Paris smell almost ruined my trip.
Shit. It's a very thick, sweet, nauseating smell.
What the fuck?
I know
Who
the
said this?
reputation for Paris smelling like urine. However, I didn't think it would permeate my clothes and the food that I ate.
Damn.
Jesus.
Anyways, when you see the shower, which must actually just be a steam room, but the noise is a shower noise. Yeah. Anyways, he comes out and they grabs him like, "Hey, gotcha! Hey, bro!" And they're all hugging and kissing his flicking ears.
Yeah.
Again, dick just swinging around inside his robe.
If this were my brother,
Yeah,
and I was in that shower,
yeah.
I can't even begin to imagine what he would be doing on the outside.
God,
of the
I would
shower when
love the
walked
recut
out.
of this where Matt Scarpino is Kraven.
It would just be he would be showing me his asshole.
Yeah.
It would just be a full moon out, and I would walk in like, God damn it.
So we come out and we just get just a real awkward exchange from these two, right? Of just like, it's my birthday, bro. Come on, we're going out. Not going to the pet shop or whatever the fuck this is.
No, you're not going out in those clothes. Here, try this on. It's a little big for the.
It's too big. It's too big for me, so it'll fit you. And I was like, oh, are these like chameleon clothes? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he's got stuff that's no, he has like some of the worst set dressing because it's like 5 outfits on a hanger and he grabs the 5th one. It's too big for me. You could say, all right.
it's too big for
and then
me.
it's perfectly tailored and he looks awesome, right? And then we're walking out and he holds the door for the couple and he goes, by the way, nice perfume.
Who says
Which
that?
right now, if someone said
Creepy.
that to
You
Jen,
fucking
I'd be like, what the
What the
fuck?
fuck,
Don't talk about
dude?
my
Well,
wife smells.
fucking
I'm
gross.
not wearing perfume. And then she's, I'm not even wearing perfume. And he goes, and he looks at the guy and the guy goes, no.
The guy's like, no, because it's
In
on my.
no fucking universe.
Are you putting these things together?
Nice perfume. And I look at the guy and what Kraven's like, he's cheating on you. I'd be like, no, somebody walked through this hallway with perfume, you
Like,
weirdo.
what are you talking
Get out of here with your
about?
oversized suit.
Can we talk about the suit for a second?
Yes.
Because this is one of those moments. I know this guy's got lion's blood and he can scale buildings. But the most unbelievable thing was that the suit fit him. Why? Because he's fucking a foot taller than this other kid. So the suit's big.
too big.
Is
It's
your
too big.
tailor dumb? Did he not cut the pants right? Why is he not wearing high waters in this?
Good question. That is a good question.
They go in.
Also, little brother, small torso.
Yeah.
Well, there's like
Little
5'4".
arms, little torso.
Yeah.
And Chameleon's like, gee whiz, it sucks because, of course, I couldn't help. I couldn't help Papa in this fight. And he's like, there's nothing. Don't be ashamed of that, man. It's just who you are. You can sing. That's cool. I like that for you. And then guess what? Papa walks in and he's got another bottle of vodka because they're Russian-ish. And they come in and they sit down and like, you know, oh, you won't. I didn't expect a hug, but you won't shake my hand. And Kraven does like the little. I'm a little punk. I won't look at you, but I'll shake your hand, kind of thing. Just say no. No, I won't shake your. Anyways, he sits down. They raise a toast to maybe being able to get their family back on track, kind of bullshit.
Mother
or whatever.
Russia.
And from there, they proceed off camera to get shit faced. And so we go back to Chameleon's apartment. And he's getting drugged in by Kraven, and he's all like, "Yeah, show me the way to go home. I want to go home." And he tosses him on bed. And as Kraven gets ready to leave, Chameleon's like, "Hey, no, hold on a second, though, Kraven. I love you," and I flick your ears. And it's just, I know that you're guilty for leaving me here in this abusive system when you could have just taken me to mommy's fucking biodome too and given me the salmon. I'd love the salmon.
Want some salmon?
It's like, I love sushi, so it's like I was watching. I'm like, maybe that'd be
It
good.
looked good.
You know
Yeah,
what I
it
mean?
did look good. It's just like a
Anyways,
red
but
chunk of grapefruit.
I forgive you. And Kraven's like, all right, and goes out there,
sorry.
and he's like, I'm gonna go this palatial estate this amazing apartment. I'm just gonna sleep on this couch in the suit. All right, I'm not gonna change. I'm not gonna put on my old clothes. I'm not gonna put a blanket on.
Have you introduced the foreigner yet?
No, we can though.
Because at some point he
probably
just shows up.
I don't know if we have been introduced to him yet, because they mention yeah, I don't know if that's even happened yet, but
That's crazy.
It is weird for sure.
Because we're like halfway through the movie.
Yeah.
No, you're right. He must have. So let's just do it. It probably happened beforehand. At some point here, the Rhino sends the foreigner over to the Russian
That's
prison.
his name, by the way. The
Yeah,
foreigner.
yeah. The Russian prison, where he picks up the jaguar or the tiger tooth that it was used to kill stuff. The guard's like, "What are you doing, man?" He's like, "Nothing. I'm just investigating what's going on." Stand up, and he stands up, and then he does the slow thing of his glasses, and 1, 2, 3, and goes around and blows the dude away. Right? He was able to freeze him and get over there and kill him. And it's he's hunting this. He's hunting, and I also missed this whole thing. I made a point of calling it out way back in the very beginning, before the flashback. Right? It was that when Kraven got on the plane, he wiped off the tattoo.
All right.
That, of course, they never showered him and it never got wet and he never rubbed his neck up until that point. Wipes it off with his bare hand. And then they go to the thing and it was like, wait, we found a body. And they say the tattoo on there. That was the prisoner. Then who just killed that guy? Whatever.
Tell me about the foreigner, Tim.
Yeah, so I'm unfamiliar with the foreigner
too.
character. But I was Wikipediaing it, and it looks like he was formerly married to Silver Sable at some point. He's a mercenary. Looks very Punisher-like, holding some guns and shit here. Got some yellow boots.
I mean-
He has no superhuman abilities.
Bullshit.
He has trained his body to be in absolute peak physical condition, and he's among the
just like
greatest
me and Greg.
martial arts practitioners in the Marvel Universe. But then later, they say that he does have this ability that is it's like the foreigner has no superhuman abilities. However, he has trained his body to be in peak physical condition, and then later is allowed to possess a near mystic ability to place an opponent in a 10-second hypnotic trance through eye contact, which makes the opponent believe the foreigner can move faster than the eye can see. He has hypnotized Spider-Man in this fashion.
Wow.
It's like, how are you going to start out being like he has no superhuman
Peak
abilities,
physical condition.
but he also has hypnosis? Like, what the fuck are we talking about
I'm
here?
going to say it's like this dude was wasted in this movie. I think this guy was cool.
This
He's a
could
good
have
actor.
been amazing.
Yeah.
It's just so, like, take him out of this movie
made no
and
sense.
it'd be totally okay.
Yeah.
They just don't explain it at all.
I remember this actor's name. I think is Christopher Abbott. Right?
He's cool as shit.
I remember seeing him the first time in a movie called It Comes at Night, where he's just a really good actor. And then shout out to Sony for doing a Tim Geddes level of promotion in this movie, because we watched 2 trailers before this film. One for 28 Years Later, starring Aaron Taylor Johnson, and the other for The Wolfman, which is Christopher Abbott.
Yeah.
Oh, wild! I was like, good for you.
You
Sony.
won't like him in this film, but they are in other stuff that
Hey,
you might like.
I'll tell you what else though.
Girls.
He did not feel the need to do steroids, and he still looked really good, but skinny in like a turtleneck. He
Yeah.
looked like a secret agent. I thought that was really
100%.
Cool.
He looked like a secret.
Great head of hair.
Oh
Good
my god, the
Lord.
head of hair on this guy.
The amount of hair per square centimeter must just been otherworldly. You know?
Do you ever
That's
think, like,
a
dude,
superpower.
if we could match up, like, give me some.
Anyways, in the mix of all
Let's
this,
take a few.
and things we've glossed over and not done right, and the Rhino gets this video, but before we even watch the video, it is established that the hunter is killing people out there. Kraven at one point says his name is Kraven to someone. Maybe I guess it's when have we already met? Yeah, we've already met.
He met
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, they went to the funeral.
We already met Calypso, right? Yeah,
He found
yeah,
her.
yeah.
Calypso.
How did he find her?
The news? No.
I'm a hunter.
He just found her because of the stuff, right?
I don't know.
I don't think
I
he's
have
a hunter.
no idea.
Doesn't
They
matter.
never explain how he find this woman,
He-
but he does. He's
He
unable
had the
to
one
find anyone
card.
else. In the
He had
rest
the
of movie.
one Abe Lincoln card about strength.
Yes.
And so he tracked her down with that, and he's got the vial, but he doesn't tell that yet. But he tracks her down. She's a lawyer now because her parents were lawyers.
Yeah.
She doesn't even like it. You know what I mean? It's gonna be very akin to when Ben's running Kind of Funny in 30 years. He's like, I don't even care about video games. It's just nepotism. And so it's like, I don't even care about it, but my grandmother was into this and blah, blah. And so now, like, it's like begins the tale of 2 Calypsos, right? Because it's just like, I'm working at the biggest law firm. You got some bad people on me, yeah, whatever. I just do it and do the thing. And then he hands her the envelope. Now, shout out to envelopes like this. We don't see enough of these envelopes where you got the little piece of string, you tie to the other part,
Manila
you untie, you
envelope.
do that thing. Well, it's not even manila, right? This is a different kind of manila
So
envelope.
cool. It's
Yeah,
like a
it's
rich
super
one.
Bring those
cool.
back
Like
for
rich
sure.
people.
And she opens like, a lot of names on the list. If you're going, this is almost feels like it should be the end credits. Like a lot of names on this list. If you're going to go for it, people are going to come for you. And he's like, I don't give a shit. I'm the Kraven. I'm hunting people,
Oh,
right?
he crossbows that
I
dude in the
crossbowed
office.
I already crossbowed the dudes in the office when I was chasing those guys back with the fucking. They stole a bunch of horns from my yak friends, but they weren't the yak friends we already got introduced to as an
Yeah.
audience. They were on my property or whatever, and I chased one. I killed a whole bunch of them, bit the one guy's nose off. This is why I ripped the dude's throat out. Then rather than finish those guys off, I looked at their license plate and then did all the legwork to find out who rented it to get back to this place to kill these guys with the crossbow, to get the book with the names in, to cross off the names, to have this list to give to you, Calypso. And she's like, wow, you're gonna go to I don't know if I can help you. And he's like, but we have similar goals and blah 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 and whatever the fuck, you know what I mean? And she's like, well, eventually people are gonna come for you. And he's like, I have nothing except for this brother that I come and see here in London once a year on his birthday. And my dad's a drug dealer. And so then, anyways, and this is where he says, I go by the name Kraven there, but only people who have ever heard that are dead. Okay, cool. Everybody calls me the Hunter. And then we have this video where the video plays and the facial recognition goes, oh, this is the guy's, whatever his name, Siegfried. And guess what? He's also known as Kraven, a.k.a. the Hunter. And I was like, how do you have any of this information? How does anyone know the name Kraven if he's killing everybody? The Hunter I can give you, right? But the Kraven part, the newspapers, he's like, the press calls me the Hunter.
Yeah.
But now
and his
also-
last name is Kravinoff, spelled a little bit differently.
Yeah, with a
It's-
K. He makes a point of it with a K.
God, man.
Anyways.
I hate this movie.
I gotta go back and rewatch this, and don't you think I'm not going to? But there's a moment. This is the thing that always fucking kills me. Whenever someone cuts the security cam footage, but it's just the footage that they showed in the movie,
Drives me crazy.
and I hate that. And I especially hate it in this because I'm pretty sure the camera was like handheld and it like moves away or like moves toward him. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
Just shoot at
digital
securities.
Anyway, so that is enough that when Kraven's like, I'm on the couch, you know what? This AC's too loud. I can't deal with the hustle and bustle of London. I'm going to go sleep in London Central Park. I don't know what they call it.
That
You
was
know what I mean?
weird, man. I'm gonna take my shoes off too.
I mean, he has to touch the grass. He's an animal, except for the very classy Airbnb he lives in that has nothing really to do with it. So then he wakes up and then he walks back in and then he's like, "Cool, I'm here." Goes up to. We have this thing where, again, I'm gonna enter my brother's apartment through the roof. I'm going to climb up the side of it and get in that way. Okay, because you don't want to be identified, I guess. I'm now going to attempt to blend in by walking in barefoot, asking this man to hold the door. When he doesn't, I will throw my Bowie knife into the elevator button, ruining the elevator button,
Yeah, it's
and
bad.
setting off a lot of alarms for people around here of like, dude just threw a knife at the fucking door. It almost feels like one of those like Justice League, Joss Whedon, like, hey, brighten this up. We need a joke
Yeah.
here. You know what I mean? He gets in there, my work knife. Oh, what do? I hunt people. Okay, well, I'm calling 911 as soon as this
You
conversation's
psychopath.
over. You know what I mean? Like, you can't threaten me in my own elevator. He gets up there now, opens the door. Guess what? Everything's tipped over. Oh my God, what the fuck's happening? Goes into the bedroom. There's blood in the bed. Oh my God. Then runs outside and then looks down and like, luckily he just missed these guys. They're dragging the brother out right now.
Yeah, shout
Right.
out to those guys who had all night to kidnap this brother, but instead we're like, let's get a good night's sleep.
And it was,
And
and
we'll
it
go
turns
out
out they were
tomorrow.
there for Kraven. Right? So it's
Yep.
like whatever. Kraven's like, not on my fucking watch. Zooms in on the cigarette. He's like, this will come into play later.
Incredibly
which I
bizarre.
totally never caught him talking about again. And then does this crazy jump there and like smashes the thing. And I was like, oh, this is cool. Like I like this of like he's frantic to get down there, so it's not going to be the clean, quiet stealth thing. It is him just smashing shit up and dropping and whatever.
And then this whole entire chase scene is just bonkers hilarious.
Yeah.
Like we got this van going down the streets, and then we have Aaron Taylor Johnson doing his best Tom Cruise, barefoot, running through the city, making some just insane jumps from like car to car, just like on the bridge. I don't know what it was about this scene, but it felt like an SNL parody. Like every single camera cut was just like more ridiculous than the last. Like what were they going for here, Nick?
I don't know. I think that I didn't hate this sequence. I was like, okay, at least we're in action that's waking me up. But it was oddly reminiscent of like, you know, Captain America running through the streets in the first Avenger with the weird booties on his feet, which I couldn't get out of my brain.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
And then we get to the sequence with the helicopter, and I was like, oh, we're still going.
Yeah.
And then he gets on the helicopter and gets pulled through the water, and I'm like, oh, we're still going. It's gonna climb. Okay, cool. I'm in. You know, it's like a joke. You just keep telling it over and over again until it starts being funny, and then he just hits a buoy, and then he's done. And then he goes, Dimitri!
He does.
The only thing I want to toss in there that I found hilarious was when he's on the van and he's punching every door, punching every glass, and it's like, it's bulletproof. And I was like, okay, cool.
Outside and inside.
Yeah, and I was like, that's fine. But it was more the idea of like, I'm not a master hunter, assassin, whatever. But at the point that I've now identified there is no point of entry, but they're in a contained vehicle that I'm on,
Yeah.
grab the other rail and just get low on the roof. This thing's gonna run out of gas eventually. I'm gonna get you where we're going.
Yeah,
you know what I
that's
mean?
fair.
Instead, he does the thing and he starts yanking the thing open where they hit him off thing. I was like, oh, that's a dumb move.
Yeah.
You
Very
would have
dumb
taken,
move.
just let them do what they got to do. You know what I mean? Get up there. Anyways.
Yep.
And then
Or
yeah,
just,
I was
you know,
like,
burst the
oh, we're
tires.
about to do the Captain America. No, that thing, hook that thing. I was like, okay, well, like, why aren't you climbing up it real quick with your cat-like reflexes? He gets away.
Hard to climb out of water. It makes you heavier.
Yeah. And so again, now Kraven says, the jig is up. I can't blend in anymore, even though I haven't really been blending in. So he goes from the river all the way to the lawyer's office of Calypso and walks in there. And then, again, I know he's soaking wet, but I also know that we were watching a movie, but he's soaking wet in a very nice suit and a movie star. So he walks in, and he's not really being that asshole-ish.
Yeah.
And then the security guard's like, I'm going to tase you immediately.
Yeah.
I was like, this is an escalation. Like, don't get me wrong, it's weird that the soaking wet man's here, but like, I think I would have gone a few steps of like, you don't strike me as you're just patently insane. You know what I mean? But anyways, Calypso comes around the corner and quickly fixes it and brings him into the thing. And then it's like, okay, cool.
He has a lot of vanity and ego for a character
Who lives in the woods.
who's supposed to be sort of like communing with nature every 5 seconds. He doesn't like the suit. He's like, I'm not going to wear that. He shows up wearing cargo pants and something very functional that you would expect to be, wear when you're out in the forest. But then very quickly, he's like, I look good in this.
Yeah.
And I'm going to walk around everywhere with my head held high. And I know how good I look, and I know I look like a movie star.
Yeah.
And it reminds me, this is a stick with, it's a pull. This reminds me of a lot of the sequence in Die Another Day where James Bond was like in the prison for a long time and then escapes the boat and then walks right into like the Four Seasons and like asks for his normal room, but he looks like shit. But he walks in with swagger because he's James Bond. And that makes sense for that character. He's not out there hunting fucking elk with a man-made spear.
We jump all the way to way later in the movie, right? When Chameleon's like, he made you hate people. And he's like, and I was like, oh, I've never gotten that. You're very charming and sociable when you talk to everybody. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I haven't really gotten that you're like a hermit, Kraven, or whatever. Anyways, though, him and Calypso are in the law office, and he's like, this is what's happening. What's going on? And she's like, don't worry. There's people I can call. All right, I'll do what I do, and then you can do what you do.
But also and this is where the movie really, this part of the movie, everything up to this point.
Yeah.
But this part of the movie is where it starts falling apart. I was like, why do you need this woman? You are the world's
the
greatest
hunter.
detective. That'd be like Batman's like, I just can't crack this one. Let me call a random lawyer.
It's one of those ones where it's like, we've already established, not that this is hard, I would struggle with it because I'm an idiot, but like he can memorize a license plate. When the one van was driving away, I was like, oh, he's going to look at the license plate and oh no, he's going to chase him on foot. And I get you're mad, but like still, you just tracked this guy across the globe for the African rental he got. Like you can't do it for these people and get licenses and registrations.
He's tracked all these people all around, and then all of a sudden he just suddenly happens to need this one character just because, admittedly, they are two of the best looking human beings I've ever seen share the screen together, which is really the only reason why they have this character in this movie is to give him someone to act opposite and then cutie and flirty
Nick leaned over to me and said, they're very attractive.
Because I will say, shout out to the costumer for Calypso, because with all the stuff they put her in, I was like, Jesus Christ.
Dude,
Absolutely.
I got an audible laugh at the very end though, where like we've gone through the crossbow buttons and all these
Five
things. And
costume changes,
She's just
man.
in a normal t-shirt, and then it's like, oh shit, it's going down right now. And then she steps out in like this like Oscar-worthy dress
put on my
in this
evening
like
gown that I wore
all
to the
this
Met Gala.
jewelry. And I was like, all right, yeah, that's what we're doing.
So sick.
Anyways, though, I'm gonna toss it in here, right? We jump over to Chameleon tied up with Rhino's people, where he's like, "Dad's not gonna pay you" or whatever. And this,
I also want to clear, like, the entire movie, you've said Chameleon. It's just the little brother. Like, it's not really like we know it's him
because his dad said he could make anyone's voice like a chameleon.
he does all that shit. But then at the end of the movie, he actually becomes the chameleon. It just feels like, why? Like, why did we need to do any of that? Like, it feels so out of place for the movie that they have in terms of the story. It's just
he wants power. He's sick of being a little guy get pushed around.
that twist is crazy too. Like that feels like as out of nowhere as freaking Kraven turning on his dad.
My torso, my arms are small. I'm gonna go to that doctor in New York.
I'll tell you what, when he puts on Aaron Taylor Johnson's head, though,
Hilarious.
that was a freaky dinky.
That's what I'm telling you. It looked awful.
It was awful. Awful.
Anyways, and so then we jump back from that to, okay, cool. We're going to go to dad now, right? And we go to dad, and he's like, by the way, look what they sent. And it's his, oh my God, it's his finger. It's
He'll
Chameleon's
never play
finger.
piano again.
Oh no. And so then it's like, well, eventually we jump back over to Chameleon talking to Rhino, where again, he shows him Rhino's very much trying to get him on his side. Listen, your dad shit all over me and made me feel small. He shits all over you and makes you feel small. Here's a steak. I'm sorry we cut off your finger, collateral damage. We had to do what we had to do. You know what I mean?
Bummer.
Could have just taken the ring off, put it on somebody else's finger. But enjoy your steak. I'm gonna explain this thing. Also, look me. I went to this doctor, the Jackal in New York, and I'm gonna smash my own granite countertop in this weird apartment I have that has the spinning fans in the background, real villainy layer shit,
Yep,
and my fucking all my feed sacks. This is your feed sack line, right?
Yep.
Feedback. And then of course, Chameleon's like,
Why?
listen, it sucks. This shit sucks. My dad sucks, but I'm not gonna turn on my family or whatever. And that makes Rhino mad. I forget what he says. And so then this is where we get the ring back, like literally the callback from yes, because they set this up right. You get the ring from no, the woman. I know I'm trying to get to it, but I've now blanked on
right.
Calypso, who's like, I found it. They got fed bad information. It's this Turkish place or whatever. And so Kraven's like, I'm going to this Turkish place. And he goes there and he's just fucking floor by floor, not even fighting people, just walking up and running and climbing. And it's just like, why is this
And
place...
he's going so
why
fast
is it
that he
gotta
kind of
be
like
this
drifts
big?
out of control. It's just
Yeah.
like, why?
It's so good.
Why's it gotta be so big? But he gets up there and he's blow darting everybody and doing this thing and
Until
looking
he
for
doesn't. Until there's one guy that he's just like, I'll just kill this guy real loud.
Yeah.
For no reason.
True. Yeah,
Then he
yeah.
ran out of what do they call it? Rosary bead pea
Yeah,
blow darts.
yeah. And so then it pops off and everything's happening. He realizes it's a trap. The guy is there. The henchman who's
Yeah.
running all this
The guy
underling
with the crescent moon
bullshit.
scar or whatever. it is.
Yeah.
that
That's how they found him. Yeah. Because again, it was like he smokes. I do remember this. He smokes Turkish cigarettes, so he's probably Turkish, and he's got a scar under his eye, and that's enough for her to be like, I'm gonna call people and find him. But then he's like, you have to toss me out the window. And he tosses him out the window, and they go down there, and he looks up. He's like, we're both dead men, or whatever. Like, and all the shit. falls on
Rocket
him.
launcher.
This
Yeah,
scene
yeah.
was insane. Like the rocket launcher coming out of nowhere, him using his little freaking spidey sense to see it, then him holding the fucking human, and then they fall, and the tumble is just so dramatic. Like that man, every bone in his body would be dead. I don't care that Kraven was holding him a little bit, whatever. There's no way that he could speak.
Every bone would be dead. It's just funny to me.
Eventually, they come and they move the blocks or whatever, and they're like, we killed him probably. And he's like, I don't think so. And he kills
I'm gonna
these
take a
fucking guys.
photo. Yeah, I'm recording the footage. Yeah, we just got the Kraven or whatever. We got the hunter.
Hey, what's
And
up, everyone? Thanks
little-
so much for subscribing. We got the Kraven.
Little knock on his shoulder, and he's like, I don't think you
got
killed
shit.
it. Yeah,
Get
kills
fucked.
him, whatever he does.
And so then this is where Foreigner is back again, and he's swabbing the thing. He's like, oh, rosary bead pearls or whatever. And the guy's like, what are you doing? He's like, do you have an evidence bag? And, and he's like, 1, 2, 3, and then kills those guys or whatever. Right? Policeman.
I loved every
kill
time
him.
it happened. I'm a sucker for
He's a
this.
bad guy.
This guy's cool.
Yeah, but just like get away.
He's a bad
1,
guy.
2, 3, and then you go through. You gotta kill people.
People
Where'd
like
he go?
bad guys. You want bad guys? You want bad guys stuff, right?
Yeah.
And so then they're like, fucking Kraven, man. You know what I mean?
Is he coming after us now?
yeah,
and we hear the
yeah,
elevator. And they're like,
Good job. This is great.
holy shit.
And they've
it's-
all got their guns pointed at the
door
elevator.
opens. They're like, that's not
It's the foreigner
That's
who
not the
I thought was
hunter.
working with us, but like there's a little bit in here. They actually aren't working together yet. They don't.
Yeah.
They don't know each other. Foreigner, their paths have just crossed. This
But
is
didn't he say at one point like I've got a guy on the job? They call him the foreigner,
This
and then
is-
it cuts to the
this
foreigner.
is all very weird. This entire thing, and I probably just missed something because I'm very tired and bored at this point. And so he does the wow,
He does the
everybody,
thing, and then he turns one of the guy's guns.
just to show that like I could have fucked
Just to
you
fuck
up.
with him.
I could have
And
fucked
also
you up.
because you have to imagine they make fun of that guy because everyone else is in a suit and that guy's the one wearing
Tracksuit.
Fred Perry tracksuits. And it's like,
Yeah.
what are you doing?
He eats
guy?
some of the
Why are you
stick.
trying to
He's
be
like,
different?
everybody chill out, man. We're all in the same thing. Fucking
That steak
Kraven.
looked good, yeah.
It did.
Oh,
Oh,
that
it's
was
Made me
awesome.
hungry. It made me wish that I had eaten that pretzel that Greg offered
Oh,
instead of
man.
you eating it.
Yeah.
That pretzel was something.
Popcorn was good, too.
It looked like it could be in a stock footage. It
Yeah.
looked so
Yeah.
good.
It was perfect.
And it tasted great.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
No problem, anytime. And so then he's like, yo, we all have same things, right? Like, I'm the fucking foreigner, but I had a guy who is the foreigner before me, and he killed him, and he pulls out a Daily Bugle. And I was like, oh, is this going to be like Punisher, Kraven? Like, whatever. And it's like, the hunter versus the hunted. Or I was like, oh, it wasn't helpful at all. He was a master assassin, but he killed him, so now I'm going to kill him.
Who was it? Who was his dad? His boss?
Friend? I don't know.
That was the assassin, the mentor. Did we ever figure out who that was?
Alex will tell you. Alex fucking took copious notes on this entire movie. He can tell you anything you want to.
3GB.
And so then it's like, all right, we're all on the same team, but how would we ever find this man? He's like, here you go, rosary bead flower. I have one. I'm showing it to you. Rosary bead. Or no, he doesn't. He just has the juice, and then she has it. Doesn't matter. Rosary beads it's a very
only in
specific
one
poison.
place.
It only comes from this one place in Africa or whatever. Now, of course, this would be
where
about
the League of
300
Shadows
square fucking miles of this shit. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's like me being like, oh, well, elm trees only grow in the United States, which isn't probably true, but you know what I mean?
Yeah. Should be easy to lock
Yeah,
down.
exactly. Like, all right, we got him or whatever.
Yeah.
Right, bam, let's go. Then they jump over there, and guess what? This was the thing where Kraven was like, it was a trap, and calls Calypso, and you got to get out, and you got to come meet me. And she's like, oh man, there's 5 guys in suits in my lawyer's office. That never happens.
What a great moment. That's this is so indicative of how bad this movie can be.
Yeah.
Because for audio listeners, just to explain, like in detail, Kraven calls her and says, where you just told me to go, it was a trap. They are probably coming for you next. And she's in a large office building overlooking the lobby of this office building, and she sees 5 guys in black suits, and she goes, there's 5 guys in black suits that look like they don't belong here.
She is
How so?
30. She's 30 stories up and just
so?
happens to be looking at the lobby of this building at that right moment when she can see those guys for approximately 5 seconds it takes for them to cross the fucking
And
lobby.
they look like everybody else in the office.
and they all look
too.
exactly the
And
same.
I will.
If they walked in with guns, like, oh my God, you're right. No, they're just 5 dudes walking.
I will once again call it the fact that I am not a master hunter, nor am I a master criminal.
You're pretty good at it.
But if I was,
Master Grabbler.
if I need to grab somebody, I need to grab Calypso, right? I would definitely be like, 4 of you guys in your suits who've never been introduced in this entire movie before, go to her office. Actually, you know what? I'm sorry. 2 of you guys in your suits, you go to her office. 2 of you go to her house. Because Calypso leaves the office building, then goes to her home and packs a bag. You know what I mean? There isn't the usual don't drop everything and go, you know what I mean? Like there's no immediacy to this for her.
No.
And she grabs her giant or the little bag of a giant vial. We don't know it's a giant vial.
I do also want to point out that Kraven is a very trusting individual, because how does he not know that she didn't double cross him?
Dude,
That's a great
he's
call.
got the instincts of every animal.
You're
It's
right.
like how dogs can tell if you're a good person or a bad person. That's why
Yeah,
is that why
that's
Cole
why
hates
Cole will
me?
be with you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, I gotta go to the seaport or whatever. Go to the fucking field. This giant cargo plane is gonna pick you up, my friend, and fly you all the way over here. Okay, great. And then, of course, no idea who this person's flying. This not even a plot point. Doesn't matter. She gets dropped off there. She's he picks her up, and they're gonna walk her back over to the thing. And then what happens? She's like, what? And he's like, we're being hunted. And guess what? Boom. It's like, the snow leopard hops out. And they wrestle and they tussle, and he's yelling at it like he yelled at a dog or
This
whatever.
was pretty sick. I thought it was, I
like this
loved it
scene.
being on top of him and be like, fuck you. You're not trying to hunt me. I'm sorry.
you don't
And
hunt
then
me. You don't hunt me.
runs away all scared, like, oh shit, damn dog, I didn't know you had it like that.
Yeah, they're homies now.
Got one scratch on his
Game
arm.
respect game.
That's how
yeah.
Tim and I became friends. We had to wrestle first.
Little
Yeah,
tussle,
dominance. And so then they go to the very nice Airbnb, and she's like looking around. She hits the button or whatever and does all the stuff, and then does the crossbow stuff, and then she looks
real
up.
quick, the leopard during that sequence, I'm pretty sure it like did a weird kind of
Flip.
karate move flip. Like it like kicked him somehow and like did some cool thing. I was like, what the fuck? Like how did this leopard's doing like some weird
Tai
sort of-
Lung.
it belongs in the that's what I thought. I thought the same shit. It's Tai Lung from Kung Fu Panda. Good movie, Greg.
You missed those.
Have you shown
We'll
bad
watch them again.
Kung Fu Panda?
No, I haven't,
Holy
no.
shit.
That's
That's too
too
scary.
These
for me
movies
now.
are good. Like
Okay.
I would give him a few more years because
Okay.
Tai Lung's scary.
these movies are good, bro.
Okay.
Yeah.
The problem is the main character is named Poe, and I can't have Ben respecting anybody named Poe.
Yeah, but Poe's a big fat loaf who like kind of stumbles into
Well, then he's
it.
gonna be like, "Why isn't he named Dad?" We got it. Check your text message. I sent you a funny, but you aren't looking at your
I
phone.
apologize. Well, I put it down because I get distracted very easily.
I know. Everybody, hold for him to read my text message. I'm so
noticed that.
I'm so fucking on today, guys.
Wow,
you know
dude,
what I
you're right.
mean?
What'd you say?
I'll show it to you, Andy, not Tim.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's
Hold on, that's
not Tim.
Jen. That's
Okay.
Jen. No, it's fine.
I'm so tired.
The very last one. Love you, Tim.
Love
Don't
you.
worry, it wasn't about you.
No, I'm sure.
Just this in real time before our eyes.
Yeah.
Anyways, so then they walk around and then she starts noticing all the vials. Like, what are you trying to do? And he's like, what is this shit? I've been trying to reconcoct this shit because I got killed by a fucking lion and then he bled in me and then this shit was with me. They gave me this.
blood in my hole.
You know what I mean?
God.
She's like, man, I wish I could help you. You know what I mean? But my grandma mixed a wicked cocktail, right? And she died like right after that. So no real idea what's going on.
Trash.
But it's like, and then this. It isn't here, but we're gonna toss this in. Where it was one. I didn't talk to Tim much during this film. I was freezing to death and I had my hood up.
It was very cold.
But I turned to Tim after one of her lines where she's talking about the violence. After she calls it
My
deepest legacy, my family's deepest legacy.
Yeah.
And it was like one
Your
of the.
parents were lawyers.
It's one of those lines where it's like nobody was like, I think deepest secret,
Yeah.
greatest our legacy, the deepest.
It's one of those things where, like, you know, like the character's a little at odds with what they're telling us, right? Because we have this like grandmother who's like this mystic character, and we see her in that setting, and then the next setting we see her in is like this incredibly expensive family vacation that, you know, that like these two incredibly successful like straight edge lawyers are, and like we needed a little bit more of the mysticism in her background, to really sell this, as opposed to just her growing up with these two squares, you know?
She's a lawyer that happened to have this one mystical thing. And then there's a whole backstory we don't know.
Let's just say that you don't know everything about me.
Let's just say that I fucking killed 3 kids at summer camp.
What that line reminded me of is like playing a Japanese developed game and there being a translation issue that didn't quite work in English, and like it just felt like there was like something missing. Their deepest legacy was like, what is that? That means nothing.
But it's awesome when she says the line. We'll get to it when she gets up. When she says like, you don't know everything about it. Like I've lived a life too. I'm like, but we've seen it. We saw it in a flashback.
Yeah.
You grew up with 2 very nice parents who were very successful. And your grandma was a little nutty. Whatever. Who didn't have a grandma that was a little nutty?
Exactly. She's trying to talk
Grandma,
to Abraham
bad
Lincoln.
actor too. God damn.
Not a good actor.
Yeah.
Not a good actor.
That was
And
another
again,
one where I was like, is this AI?
not good writing in that sequence.
Yeah.
Either, to be fair.
Hold on, I got a Slack message.
Yeah, I sent Barrett. I wanted you to see it. I wanted you to see the text I sent to
Have
him.
you noticed that Tim has stripped off his jewelry? What's next? How long? Also, Tim, don't look at this really quick, just because this is only.
I
for
did
me.
tag you and Tim say, "Don't look at it. It's for Barrett in control."
don't
And
deserve
so then, you know, it's like, cool. So we got that part of that done. That's great. And we have all this backstory there. That's great. And then we know you can shoot a crossbow. That's great. And then, it's like, wait a second. They're bringing the fight to us, right? There's a phone call. Rhino calls and he's like, hey, you hate your dad and I hate your dad. So you can either help me take down your dad or, and Kraven hangs up. And Rhino's like, all right, we're coming. We're bringing the fight to everybody. Load up. We're going in there. And so they drive into his mother's forest preserve. That is the only place to get this berry, but everybody knows about the berry. Because not only does, again, the foreigner who kills people for a living and knows all this, I understand why you would know all this stuff. Not only he knows it. Oh, it's the fucking red ruby pearl or whatever.
Yeah.
But then she picks it up. The Calypso, whose grandmother died before she really came of age, and her parents, who are not mystics, she picks up, oh, it's a red ruby pearl. This is fucking poisonous shit. So everyone knows about this? Again, it's like somebody's picking up an acorn and being like, oh, man, acorns.
Because she knew all the other ingredients that were on the table as well, I just assumed that she had been,
She's
according to her
dabbled.
past, she's dabbled in it. She maybe makes the potion now. She knows what she's doing.
There
a
are
little
so many like super powered characters in this movie. It's insane.
Oh, but you love
I'm
it in
fine with
Avengers? I hate it when he double speaks like this. You know what I mean?
bit. You do like the Avengers, and they all have powers
do.
except for Hawkeye's lame.
Black Widow, too. Anyways, so the bad guys...
Cameron Kennedy says, I'm not even following this plot anymore.
The bad guys all roll up in their vans in the forest preserve, and they all get out. And then Rhino's like, "Go get him or don't come back." And they all walk off in the woods, like, "We're gonna fuck up Kraven, right? We're gonna come to his home turf and fuck him up in the jungle we've never been to." Sound a little bit like something else you might have heard of? The Vietnam
of the
War. You
Jedi.
know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
You
Yeah,
know,
of course.
Rhino opened a fucking history book. Anyway,
Man.
he walks in there, and just like the Viet Cong army, there are fucking booby traps everywhere. Everywhere. They're brutal
They
as
set some
fuck.
for him too.
Which was weird. Like the bear traps came from them.
Yes,
Yeah.
you're right. I did have questions about that because Kraven's out there, and he uncovers a bear trap. I'm like, these guys got out of the Jeeps with bear traps, set the bear traps, covered them up.
We saw it.
It looks
we saw a shot of them. One shot of them.
maybe I nodded off then too. Maybe I nodded off.
Wait, but did they set up the predator trap?
No, that was him. I
that was
believe.
So why
him.
does he have that
I
set
don't
up?
know.
For intruders.
But okay,
Yes.
Yes, Nick.
but he didn't set the bear traps up, right? Why would he not set bear traps up?
Inhumane to bears.
So why would he set other traps up that could potentially kill fucking random animals that walk by them?
A rabbit would go into the tripwire.
Yeah.
The snow leopard, he's hopping over shit too.
So the
This
animals
turns
are just
into
hyper
this
smart.
Rube Goldberg machine.
What about the one that
he's-
splits
with-
man from
with
neck
his
to nuts?
eyes, he's communicating to all the animals. He went
giving them
around,
a
he's
nod.
like, squirrel.
Squirrel.
There's an elk who's like, oh, there's traps.
Like straight up, this turns into Ewoks in Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
Of just like all these like crazy ass like logs with spikes and shit that slam people into trees.
Violent
like,
shit.
It is so violent and like
Like to start off the sequence, though. Again, we are aware that we see them walk out with the bear traps. They're going to go hunt a hunter, and then we see Kraven uncover the bear trap and go, I see what these little freaks are
you
doing, right?
fuckos.
And then it cuts to two soldiers kind of walking through the jungle, and out of nowhere, bam! He clamps a dude's fucking skull with the bear trap. We're like, oh shit! It was really violent and cool.
it was insane. And
Yeah.
they just keep upping the ante until eventually there's a guy that essentially gets slingshotted into a tree
He
and like
gets two bunny rope things on both ankles, drop to the ground. Then the tree, he gets and it's just boom.
and
No,
he
what
just
I-
explodes as he hits the tree.
Because what it looked like was bear traps that caught both of his legs or something. 'Cause they looked
individual legs, yeah.
Yeah,
and
and-
then the tree counterweight went up, pulling him real quick, and then they had a rock I thought set up
Yeah,
that was like
yeah.
a splitter.
Yeah, it reminded me of the movie Bone Tomahawk, which if you've never seen it, involves a man getting strung up upside down, and then they just start hacking until they cut him in half, and then they eat him.
Damn.
Yeah, if
Dude,
you've
Dude,
never-
but
Short
this
film?
body just like hit that thing. It
Yeah,
was
yeah.
crazy.
Looks like some of my Helldiver deaths from
Yeah.
last night.
cool.
Anyways, though, all these screams are happening, and this is where it's like I fucking hate this movie. All these
and then he
screams are happening.
hatchets a dude in the fucking head. That was
Everybody's screaming because they're getting killed by Kraven, and you cut to the Rhino, and he's like, "Oof, this is embarrassing. It's amateur hour or whatever." And so he's like, "Call it in or whatever." And now,
Oh my god.
and now, a fucking Hind D helicopter just fucking materializes.
And he says the fire in the hole.
Yeah.
And a bunch of
And it just fucking bombs the shit out of Kraven, who has been Batman of the woods, just dropping and killing him, getting out, and now he's just totally exposed. He's like, and then he's got like another Joss Whedon, like, you gotta be kidding me. And he runs, and the explosions are happening. He's just fucking booking it as all these fucking explosions happen.
It was crazy.
I forget, does he take out the helicopter? Or the helicopter just fly away? I don't know what happens.
When does he get darted?
Yeah, I think right here, right? Whatever happens, the helicopter fucks off, and then this is where, he gets darted by the foreigner, and so this is where he's spiders everywhere, like your greatest fear, and then your fucking organs are gonna melt. Oh, my greatest fear is spiders, but then I see my mom yelling about spiders, so is it I'm worried about going insane, or is it? And then wait a second, he pulls out, he's like, it was this fucking dart that did this to me, and then he fisticuffs for a while and then gets 3 more in the chest, or vice versa, 3 in the chest, then fisticuffs with foreigner for a while.
He thinks he's fighting foreigner, and then it turns out he was just
Beat the shit
hallucinating,
up a
punching
log.
a log.
Cool. That was
pretty cool.
That was
yeah.
cool. But Foreigner's got the upper hand here. I still want to be cocky because I'm afraid of the Kraven man.
Here's what's stupid as shit, right? The whole movie. But when Foreigner thinks he's got it, he looks at the right hand man of
Kraven's down. Foreigner's like, it's done, and looks at the right hand man. He's like, it's done.
he's done. I got my gun to his head. I'm gonna kill him. You can go tell him I got his ass. And they're like, hell yeah. And they turn around and they don't give a freak, right? They just
Yeah.
keep on walking,
freaks given.
and they get into the car.
We're not
with-
there. Yeah, then we cut back. And
No,
it's-
no, but hold on. They get back into the car with Rhino, and they're like, Rhino, we killed his ass. And they're like, cool.
No, but see, it isn't yet.
No. I know what you're saying. But the scene before that, we see that he gets a fucking crossbow to the head, right? And the dude dies. But what I'm pissed off about is that they get back into the car, and Rhino at no point goes, okay, cool, where's Foreigner at? But
again, remember-
actually, he's still over there. Well, where the fuck is he then?
Foreigner's
Like,
a loose cannon. He's doing his own thing out there.
you said that he killed him. Did you see him kill the?
No, we didn't want to wait the extra 3 seconds.
It's crazy.
That's the thing, right? 'Cause
It's fucking crazy.
It is. I got him. Go back, and they're like, cool, and they walk away, and then Foreigner says something else in his crossbow, and the gun goes off, and we cut back to the guys, and like, Kraven's dead. They say, like, you know what I mean? Like, why didn't you just wait the 3 seconds to see the dead body or see the kill?
And also, if you're a bad guy and this is the biggest threat on the planet to you, maybe like, can you bring me the body?
Yes.
Like, let's bring it over here. I want
Totally.
visual proof of this. Like, otherwise, I think.
You wanted proof? You wanted the body? And
Yeah,
we
he
didn't
wants the
get it.
body.
No, well, yeah.
But you have to
we don't.
imagine-
You can't always get what you want, Ma.
I have to imagine this is a Friday. You know,
They're
And he's
waiting.
just
Tired.
like,
wrap it
It's
up.
they got senioritis.
I
you know
got
what
stuff
I mean?
we gotta do.
We are globe trotting.
'Cause
I'm
at
out
one
here.
point-
I
at
got
one
fucking
point-
snow leopards chasing me and shit.
Doesn't Rhino at one point be like, it's just a good day?
Yeah, something
Like,
like,
we got a lot done today, team.
So anyway, Foreigner is looking at it. He's like, I'm going to kill him. And he does the 1, 2, and then boom, crossbow, arrow through the head. And we look, and Calypso goes, 3, motherfucker. And it's like, oh, it's
pop
kind of.
off.
And
I
then
pop
you're
off
like,
at
oh,
that.
how did, she could have never known how to handle a crossbow. But wait, the writers were clever enough to plant that one line
Write it
to
down.
say,
Summer camp.
she did summer camp crossbow
then
training.
this is where
it's
she-
like, we weren't going to question whether she knew how to use a crossbow or
She
not.
takes out her chug jug and gives it to Craven.
Yeah.
She got
Which
a
I
mini
just want to
shield.
clear. This is the moment that somebody in the audience like audibly
The
cheered.
3 motherfucker. Yeah, that was it.
That was me. I'm not kidding. I popped out for that. I was like, this is a great moment.
Bad guys roll
Best moment
out.
of the movie.
Rhino breathes a sigh of relief. Everything's great. Craven gets reinvigorated. He's ready to go. This is where they had the thing of like, there's a lot you don't know about me or some shit like that. And then he takes off. And then, we're going. And Rhino just can't believe his luck. It's finally over. And then he goes out the side of the window and goes, does anybody else see what I'm seeing? And Chameleon goes, yeah, I do. And he puts his seatbelt on, which first off, always put your seatbelt on, right? Meanwhile, and again, we're doing 75 miles an hour on this dirt road. We see the water buffalo coming at us,
stampede.
you know? And
It's a stampede.
it's not
Jumanji.
so wide that there's no way to avoid it. But Rhino goes, does anybody else see this? And unplugs himself so he becomes Rhino. And Chameleon puts his seatbelt on, and every other NPC in the scene just ignores it and drives. And then they, fucking yaks hit him left and right. They're flipping cars.
The
People are-
right-hand man gets knocked out of he gets flung out of the cars it's flipping over, and he lands on a yak's horn.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Yeah,
it was
yeah,
awesome.
yeah. And so, the yaks do all this shit. Craven rolls
They
up.
said, "Don't come back."
And then the yaks, they're like, we're here to help our main man Craven. So we're going to make a pen. We're going to make a fucking octagon. They just make a giant circle of yaks running around so everyone's contained.
Dude,
And Rhino gets out and he's Rhino.
He's
and
straight
here's-
up Rhino. Go
Here's
Greg.
my thing, where it was like, there's a lot of choices here, obviously, throughout this movie. But I thought it was cool of, hey, we're making Rhino a real thing here. This man has, bulletproof skin or whatever. And I was like, oh, that's a cool idea, Rhino. And like Chameleon can do, for no reason, change his voice, but he's like the best fucking mimic you've ever heard of. Okay, cool. I like this somewhat, and I'm using this loosely, grounded, like, okay, an interpretation of how to, and then Rhino comes out in full Rhino form and has a Rhino horn
He has
for
the horn. He
absolutely
has the
no
horn.
fucking reason.
I didn't think it could possibly look stupider than like it ended up doing. Like if they had him look like the 90s cartoon Rhino, I feel like it would look less stupid.
Yeah.
Bear, can you please pull up the 90s Spider-Man Rhino? Because like
I don't like you throwing shit at the 90s
it.
Spider-Man Rhino.
I mean, I
How
love it.
dare you?
I mean,
sir.
there's also just images of the current Rhino in this movie that
Yeah,
are
but
already out
again,
there.
I think,
Look that out.
yeah, it's like,
It looked stupider than this.
I'm with you, Greg. I thought this was going to be sort of a Christopher Nolan-esque take on, that's how they're going to interpret what the
Yeah.
character is. He's just going to have like really, really hard skin. But no, he turns
he's
into
just
like a
he is
Rhino
just the
human.
fucking Rhino.
Straight up Rhino.
Yeah.
And this is where I really get upset with the choreography of all this. Like when you have iconic characters, good or bad, and they're going to have a big fight scene because that's what superhero movies are. The Rhino did not do enough Rhino stuff. I know he charged at like the one of the many trucks at some point, but it's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
like the way he gets defeated in this. It
So
was
dumb.
so much a letdown. Like they could have done something cool. They just didn't. Like him getting stampeded to death was like,
Well, after he got stabbed in the hole.
He got stabbed in the hole.
He got
get
stabbed in the
stabbed
hole and dragged
But
by
also,
the...
by the way, did
hole.
you guys notice that his hole and Aaron Taylor Johnson's hole were in the same spot?
Oh my
The
god!
lion hole and his
the
feedback
Rhino
hole.
whore.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't realize
Just like
spot.
Jesus' spot too, from getting speared in the
Exactly.
side.
Damn.
Yeah.
All three.
Think about that.
Reference.
Justify my
Yeah.
love.
Yeah. Come get your love.
Man, but him dying on the ground there was some of the worst looking shit. Like
What
that.
were they going for? Because it was like he was.
I think it was the
slowly
reminder
turning
that he's a
back.
human.
Yeah.
No, but I'm saying even
Human and all
before,
this.
but even before he started fading away and started becoming like 10% human again, when he was just as the rhino looking up, talking at him, like all of us just like, whoa, this looks terrible. And they are just, this is a close up shot.
Now, is it better or worse than Paul Giamatti's Rhino from Amazing
this-
Spider-Man 2?
Dude, I love Paul Giamatti's fucking mech rhino. Are you kidding me?
Yeah,
It was amazing.
it was pretty cool.
I hated this. This is terrible.
So he's dead. Congratulations, you defeated the big bad. Chameleon has survived. I think they just toss up 1 year later. Am I missing?
Yep.
This is the thing they pop. And then
Birthday
when we walked out, my mom was like, "Wait, what happened to the woman? What happened to the lawyer?" I'm like, "Gosh, she just went back to being a lawyer, I guess. I don't know. I mean, I don't really care." So yeah, it's 1 year later.
that we know of. Her
we
family's
know.
secrets go
Who
deep.
knows? She drank the juice too.
Deep legacy.
So then it's Kraven coming back to his brother's club that's up and running again. Again, his brother's up there singing, and then just like waves mid song, just like stops in the middle of a chorus and waves, and everybody claps. And he goes and sits with his brother, and they cheers some wine, and then they start eating their food. And I thought it was interesting. Not this scene, maybe the other one, but like he had this steak, and then Kraven had like a fucking taco salad, like giant tortilla bowl. It wasn't tortilla. But it
I did not know.
was like that. He had a giant salad.
Get a Chipotle bowl.
Anyways,
Looked healthy.
and they start catching up because I guess this is still the thing of like we
Only
did
on your
this,
birthday.
we saved this, and I'm only coming around once a year to see you. And it is the idea that of like, wait, you're picking up Dad's contracts and doing this thing. He's like, yeah, I want power and blah blah blah. And like this is just not this scene does not play.
It doesn't
not
work at all. It's this young, the little brother. This is not this character.
Yeah.
I just simply don't believe anything that they're telling me right here.
No, before this, we saw his dad die.
Oh yeah,
Right,
That was
you're
horrible.
right.
Bear trap.
I apologize. Yes, of course, Kraven went to his dad's safari, woke him up. He came out. They shared some vodka. Dad knew what was up or whatever. The Kraven was there to kill him, right? And then, but he didn't, and he walked away. You're like, what's gonna happen? And then, of course, Kraven using his eyes that talk to animals and let them understand. It was like to the tiger. It was like, yo. My dad's killed a lot of your guys for no reason, right? So come fucking kill him for me, okay? He's like,
Yeah, his essentially,
your
his,
guys.
yeah, his Kraven is like, I know that you were the one that set me up for all of this.
yeah.
You were the one who sent him to
You're
kill
right.
me.
Rhino's final dying words were like, you had all the pieces. You know how this happened.
And his dad is like, yeah, but
I knew I couldn't get you to work with me, so I had to do this so that I could take over Rhino's empire.
Yeah.
I was a little confused when they first introduced this because Rhino's dying and it looks horrible, and he goes, "It was right in front of you the whole time."
And he turns around,
then
the brother's
turns
got the
around, the little
gun.
brother's holding the gun. I'm like, "Holy shit! It was the brother." That makes no fucking sense. But,
that
how are
would
they
have
going
been
to explain it?
fucking awesome. Because it would have been like, oh, this whole time I've just been like playing you, and I
Playing
want
it and
Dad's
whatever.
power, and I killed
I'm not
Dad
a
or
cowardly
whatever.
little bitch. Like I actually
Yeah,
do
I
some
actually
stuff
did
that
some
it's
cool
like
shit. I outsmarted you like
Very
a
weird.
chameleon would. I hid in plain sight.
But he
like
was
a fucking
pointing
chameleon
at
would.
the Rhino, and he was like, he deserves to die. And
But
he's
instead,
like, no, you're not a
this
murderer.
stupid fucking kid is pointing a gun at a character we know.
But he's
can't
got
have
part of
his
the human
fucking
head
skin.
now.
Well, we didn't see that yet until we cut back to him.
Fuck,
Then
sorry.
then the thing starts going down. I'm like, what are you doing, kid? Put the gun away. You're gonna shoot yourself in your other
Well, it's
fucking
back
finger.
to the whole thing of like, when I'm just a goon in this scenario, but I'm one of the three goons in the very beginning when Rhino's like, I gotta show him, and he unplugs and he gets all hard, and then he's bulletproof, and then he puts it back in and goes back to skin. I would be like, bam, bam, shoot you right there. I mean, am I an idiot? Like you're back to human skin. It doesn't matter.
Well, they had a sniper.
Yeah, but I mean, again, I wouldn't have waited. As soon as he put it back in, it started like, pow, pow. You know what I mean?
I mean,
I'd be
yeah.
a badass goon.
You're a fucking
You know what I
badass.
mean?
I kind of
Badass
did.
person.
I honestly did kind of like the moment of Russell Crowe being like, I knew that you wouldn't
Yeah.
help me take this dude down, and I knew
was
that
good.
he couldn't kill you, so that's why I had him go after you.
So, anyways, all that happened. Then we're at the meeting. What are you talking about? Are you gonna break up Dad's shit? And he's like, I'm just gonna get up and leave my own club and walk out into the fucking Sky Bridge of London or whatever. And then Kraven's like, oh, what's
But
going
he's
on?
also like, how did Dad die, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
What the fuck happened? He just had an
A
accident?
hunting accident?
Who cares?
You're the greatest hunter in the world.
Because this kid hated
Exactly.
this guy.
But again, usually, I mean, just don't. In the same way, when your mom dies and then you're under your abusive dad's control, just don't leave your brother. Probably when your dad is also dead and you just had your finger chopped off and all, just don't go. All right, cool. And you're gonna wrap
See
all
you in
this
a
up.
year.
You're gonna sell all the assets. I'll see you in a
Yeah,
year.
see you in a year.
I gotta get back to the Sun Dome. You know what I
Did,
mean?
did anyone else
gotta
think,
go
or
eat
maybe
some
I
salmon.
hallucinated, and this is how this movie ended? So correct me if I'm wrong, because at this point I'm just like it's a haze. Did anyone else think that okay, this guy's the best hunter on the planet? He can smell, he can see, he can do whatever he wants. Maybe we put him up against a character called the Chameleon that, as he's looking at him, just disappears right in front of his eye.
I thought that was what we're gonna get when they were out on the bridge. They have the confrontation. And he shows that he can do it.
Right.
And then he's like, "You don't have to stop you. Like you can," or whatever he says, or whatever. And then he does the chameleon mask for a second. I thought, and he's like weaving through. I thought we were gonna get he lost him.
Yeah.
But then of course you realize how ridiculous it looked when he had Kraven's face. So it would just be, well, you're clearly my brother's coat and my brother's body. Even though you've got,
Yeah, he does look like a fucking Funko Pop.
Yeah.
Like not only did that look weird, but the actual chameleon face looked so bizarre. It looked
Yeah.
like something out of Animorphs. Look at the Andalites.
You're right.
Looks
You're right.
very weird, man.
And so yeah, then it's just like
He's
anyway.
like, like a slit down his head or something.
Yeah. He's like anyway.
Really
Fucking
comic accurate, but
Gray
it just
Fox.
didn't
Yeah.
translate well.
Gray Fox.
Hey, Chris.
Yeah.
Gray Fox.
Yeah.
Oh yes. Yes.
But he's like, anyways, you can't stop me and you won't stop me because I'm the chameleon. I got a tongue. Anyways, and he's like, all right, go home. By the way, Dad left you something. And like literally, I was like,
It's his mom's body in a box.
no, I
That was
thought,
my thought.
I'm like, oh, he's gonna go back to his sun dome. And then it was like, oh, he went to the familial home. And I was like, oh man, imagine in my movie, or just for me, where I fly all the way back to the sun dome and I get there and there's nothing. I'm like, oh, he meant the fucking,
Damn it.
he meant the shitty
should've
house.
clarified.
Shucks.
Yeah.
Fuck.
And he walks in there and the lion's
had a
head,
middle row seat
the
that whole
lion's
time,
head is
too.
the lion's head is no longer mounted. This poor woman in the cargo plane. She's like, you get a smaller plane than this. You're getting killed on fuel. The lion's head's gone. Everything's packed up. And this is, again, I had problems with this of like, so I guess he wrote this note and had it with this gift thinking that one day he would come get it. But like he didn't know he was going to go die on this hunting trip, or maybe he did, but I don't know. Anyways,
I thought
Maybe
the
he was
same
gonna.
thing.
I mean, it was in a crate, so I assume maybe he was gonna ship it to him or something like that. And be
But
like,
I mean-
son, this is.
but
But he
everything
wrote-
was in a crate. Everything was
Yeah,
being broken
it's
down.
nebulous.
Doesn't matter.
It's
not
just it
great.
was written as if like I know I'm dying.
Yeah,
right
exactly. Anyways, you open the note, and I don't fucking remember what the note said, but it's we're the best hunters in the world.
It
so
straight up just said, hey, it's a superhero movie, so we can't actually have you in your costume the whole thing, but we'll give you it right at the end. You can sit in your stupid chair and look in the mirror.
And your abs are gonna look incredible.
His abs look real.
So yeah, he
all the way
opens it
down.
up, and it's this vest. It's the Kraven, the hunter vest you'd expect.
Born in labs. Now it's time to rank those abs.
Did I nail it?
Nailed it.
They were
What's up,
good.
everybody? Welcome back to Ring Those Abs. I'm your host, Nick Scarpino, alongside the master of disaster, Greg Miller. Greg,
Hi.
let me ask you a question. Is
Yeah.
your mom asleep?
My mom is asleep. She stayed awake through all of Kraven, fell asleep during the in review, Mom.
I went outside.
You can stay awake through Kraven the movie, but you can't stay awake through the in review, Mom. The only thing worse than the movie is this review, Mom. You're walking home.
Your mother took 5 seconds when I walked out to get a cup of coffee to pull me aside and be like, the only thing more fucking boring than that movie
She's like,
is you guys talking about that
Wrap
movie.
this shit up. I'd like to
So
see my
bad.
grandson.
I have a grandson. That's real.
I do want to say there was a moment where you said that was a terrible wig. Is it a wig? I don't know. Wigging out with Scarpino.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Wigging Out with Scarpino. I'm Nick Scarpino. There's one moment where they cut back to the young kid, and it must have been a reshoot.
Terrible
Because it's
wig.
that thing where the wig was just bad.
and
It
bad
was just-
green screen, man.
It was so bad. Don't do it. But if you're going to do it, if you give me the Sophie's choice of wigs or bad accents, at this point in my life, I'm picking the wigs. These fucking accents need to stop. Aaron Taylor Johnson's all over the map with it, and it's unacceptable, Tim.
It didn't bother me for a
Where's he
second.
from? New York? At one point, the beginning of the movie, he's Russian, and then he starts talking. He's like, "Well, I'll tell you what, Miss Sadie." I'm like, "Are you from
Maybe I hear
fucking
the
Mississippi?
lyric.
Where are you from?"
I mean, it's code switching, you know, depending on who he's
Exactly.
with.
He's
you
a
know?
master
But he's
assassin.
British.
He's a chameleon.
It's the coolest
Master
accent you could possibly be
assassin.
born with. Russell Crowe also let him do the British accent.
But they are Russian.
Why couldn't this character have a British accent? Why? Okay, here you go. Boom, boom, boom. Right?
what
Got
are
it.
you doing?
Nailed it.
What does that mean?
He's getting there.
They grew up in. They fucking went to school in. Oh, I don't know, England. That's why he's got a British accent. Why the fuck did he need to be American? We don't even go
Because
to
there's
America.
a doctor in America in New York.
Great. It doesn't matter. A doctor.
You hit me with 3 booms, and I did not know what you were doing.
Took a second. The first boom was the gear started moving. The second boom was it didn't line up.
You just
It didn't
spin
line
it.
up.
You're spinning it. You're spinning it.
the
Also,
third boom
Joey
again.
Noel points out Russell Crowe's New Zealander.
Whatever. I was gonna say Australian.
Puts on the vest, looks in the mirror, all depressed or whatever, right? And that's the end and the start of the Kraven cinematic universe.
There we go. It ends. No post-credit scene at all.
Thank God.
Thank God. Let's just move on with our lives.
Ragu.
What the fuck sound is that, though? That's not the right sound profile. Sorry, Greg. Sorry, Tim.
That's Nick. Ragu.
That's not the sound profile. either.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Rad Guys Talk Bad Guys, the podcast within a podcast where we rank all the villains of the Spider-Man non-MCU universe. Currently, there are 12 people on the list, and they go like this. From the best to the worst. Number 1, it's Kingpin et al. In Into the Spider-Verse. In number 2, it's Miguel Spot and Prowler in Across the Spider-Verse. Number 3 is Doc Ock in Spider-Man 2. Number 4 is the Lizard in The Amazing Spider-Man. Number 5 is Norman Osborn in Spider-Man. Number 6 is Electro/Gobby in The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Number 7 is Elon Musk and Riot in Venom. Number 8 is Venom and New Goblin in Spider-Man 3. Number 9 is Carnage and Shriek in Venom 2. Number 10 is Morbius in Morbius. Number 11 is Nolan as Roaches in Venom: The Last Dance. And number 12 is Ezekiel and Madam Web.
Yikes.
Gentlemen, where do we want to rank Rhino/Foreigner/Russell Crowe?
I want to give Foreigner the secret delight. You know what I mean? I know
I
that's a
would love to
Batman
give him
thing, but like,
You're right.
I think he elevates the group.
He does, but Rhino's very bad.
But we laughed a lot.
Not
because
enough.
his performance was so stupid and so off the wall that it was interesting to me. I'm like, what's he going to do next? I couldn't take my eyes off the man.
I feel like the little screech sound and his
colostomy
feeding
bag?
bag,
Yeah.
like those were the only two moments for me. Otherwise, I feel like Ezekiel was just what we enjoyed about this guy, but more. I think this is real bad.
But
and
they
the
did-
fact that Rhino had a shitty fight scene.
But they didn't have Foreigner or Russell Crowe.
Also, Foreigner's a great band.
So I would put this below Morbius and above Nolan as Roaches. No, I mean Morbius being
was
his
gonna
own
say
villain
fine.
is too much. Obviously, it's just too perfect. And then Nolan as Roaches, we just saw that movie, and I'm still struggling to remember what that exactly is all about.
Yeah.
Whereas I'll never
I mean,
forget Rhino.
I'm not mad at that.
Okay.
I like it.
There you go then. Entering now at the 11th spot, everybody, is in fact Rhino, Foreigner, and Russell Crowe from Kraven.
Ragu.
Now it's time to rank the Spider-Man universe of Spider-Man characters without Spider-Man.
Here we go.
At number 1, we have Into the Spider-Verse. 2, Across the Spider-Verse. 3, Amazing 2. 4, Amazing 1. 5, Spider-Man 2. 6, Venom. 7, Spider-Man 1. 8, Venom 2. 9, Spider-Man 3. 10, Venom: The Last Dance. 11 has an open spot. And then 12 is Morbius/Madam Web with a tie.
Hey, Dr. Michael Morbius.
For me personally, jumping straight into it to give you off the dome, this is going to be an interesting one, right? Hear my logic. I would put it at that blank spot at 11 because I don't think it's bad like Morbius and Madam Web. I think it's, like I said, it's just terribly boring, and Venom made me feel something. Anger. I was angry at Venom: The Last Dance but like this one, I just didn't.
I would put it above Venom: The Last Dance.
Yeah.
I would put this above all the Venoms. I think this movie,
You want to push it to 6?
at the very
That's
least,
crazy.
like it was coherent.
I
And
guess.
had fun action sequences that were actually kind of cool to watch for a little bit. I don't know. I liked him slinking around the city. I just feel like Venom is so tonally off from scene to scene that I feel like I'm watching 15 different movies at once. And this one was one coherent movie. It was boring,
Wow.
but it was coherent.
I don't know that I'd call this movie coherent. Like when there's all these characters
Remember the
that are
last-
just
let's
like,
just put
why
the-
does this person able to freaking hypnotize people?
Counterpoint.
Like, what?
Remember when Venom's like, I can't come out or the other bad Venom will find me, but then he sees Mrs. Chang and they just have a dance sequence to ABBA?
Gotta
Do you
dance.
remember that part?
I do,
Remember
and
that. I remember
it made
that.
me laugh a lot.
Not for the right reason.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think this is Morbius bad.
Really?
Oh
Yeah.
no, I'm not there. I'm not with
I would
Morbius
tie it
or
with
Madam Web
Morbius.
bad. I
Actually,
think
I'll put this.
awful.
I'll put this above Venom: The Last Dance because I don't think this is better than Spider-Man 3. That at least had fun, actual good moments in it.
Yeah.
Occasionally. So I put it at 10.
I put it at 10 as well.
It's fine, me.
I'd go 12, but I'm outvoted. So there we go. That means that above Venom: Last Dance. Give me one sec.
Remember the first Venom when he's like, "I'm really hot. I'm gonna get in the lobster tank."
Yeah. And then he eats the lobster.
Yeah,
Alyssa really loves Venom purely because of that scene.
it's a great scene.
So there we go. At
Makes a lot of
the
sense.
number 10, Kraven the Hunter. The only one's worse than that, Venom: The Last Dance. Morbius, which is tied with Madam Web. I hope that we never even get close to this bottom half of this list ever again.
I will say this on a personal note. I had a great time watching this movie.
Great time watching this movie with you.
So much fun.
It
So
was
much fun.
very cold though.
So
I'm usually not
cold.
cold.
I was
like
not that cold. Me and Andy were just dominating a bucket of popcorn.
Yeah, why did you stow it away?
Because
Away
you
from
weren't
my-
eating your share of it, and I was eating a whole thing. I started getting sick.
I was eating
To
a
my
lot, and then
stomach.
you
We'll
hit
see
it
you
to the
for
left.
Sonic
You
3
fucking
next
big-timed
week,
me with this
everybody.
I
popcorn.
thought it
Very
was done,
excited
and then
for
I
it.
was like,
gonna be
"Wow,
good.
there's
I'm
still more
so
in there."
high.
And then you couldn't put your
I
sword in the fucking cup
can't
holder.
Find the fucking cup holder.